Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's a house!
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
What's going on, freaks? Hey, it looks like there's Benny over there. I was thinking of, I don't know, somebody had a good idea. Maybe we'll use their names that they were given as their middle names. Unless you like Benny for, whatever, we'll just have a community post for each dog again. And everybody can try naming the dog. Okay, because I kind of like having our own names. I mean, I do kind of like Clancy or whatever, but, maybe just, I'll make a still frames of the dogs, and then you guys can, I'll just take a picture, and then I'll put them on community posts, and then you guys name them. I think Chloe was what you guys named Chloe a long time ago. Blue, I don't remember how we got Blue. It might have been his name. Well, he was 2 years old, so we used his name. Gracie, you guys came up with. All right, so. But there's, currently Benny over there. God, he's just so, when I can pick, he lets you kind of pick him up now, and he lets me pet him, and he likes it. But then when you call him, he kind of goes, yeah, I don't know, and he just stays over there. But he's getting better. I think it's going to be tough for him ever to be one of those really confident dogs that just runs over and jumps up and like that. I don't know. He might be able to be like that. He's pretty young. Just probably got to give him some love or something. I'm not sure what happened where he is like that. But well, I don't know. I'm trying this new goal thing at the top of the. I don't know what it shows for you guys or anything, but so if you guys want to try to do that tonight, that'd be great. We don't really have a lot of people. Whenever I cover something that's not one of the mainstream cases, I get absolutely just crushed in here. So if you guys like doing these, I'm going to need the support regardless. All right, because then then maybe people will start watching them again. I don't know. They're like 5 and 6 months old, Karen. Where have you been? we've been have these on for a long time. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Blue passed away a week before, or 4 days before Thanksgiving, and then we just thought, hey, why don't we get a couple more? Yeah, we got 2 Chihuahuas. The other one's in that little crate behind Benny there. Hey, thanks, Vicky White. All right. Does that count up on there? Not sure. I'm not sure how the goal thing works. Maybe I put the wrong feature on there. But thanks, guys. Vicky White and Kubi. Happy holidays. You too. Yeah, you've been out. But yeah, they're really, I think like Clancy, they all have look at Clancy, Chloe, Gracie, and Benny, all E. So I was thinking of calling Clancy just Jim or something like that. Something real simple. Hey, Jim, come here. Come here, Jim. I think it'd be pretty cool. Just have a name like that. You know, and maybe Bill instead of Benny. Yeah. You know, just something real simple. And no, it's not named after Jim Lawn, okay? Hey, welcome, Vicky White. Yeah, I think you'll find the first 3 cases tonight aren't really... I think, you know, we do the newspapers.com and other articles, but they're not really... well, one of them is really short, and the other ones, you know, you just got to get their name out there again. Well, I can't do Steve because Steve is the name of... that's the name of... oh, I actually know her. God, it's so weird how I always... Sometimes I forget her actual YouTube name, but I know her real name. Yeah, there's a Stevie. Yeah, it's kind of like a cream and tan, and then the other one is completely... here, maybe I'll get them out so you guys can see if you haven't seen them. Yeah, that one's like a solid color. That one. Yeah, and that one, look at it, and then they go back to the way they were. Look how crazy that is. They're just like a unit. Whenever one goes one way, the other one goes. If you remove one from the pen, the other one starts whining, and then, you know, when they're all out together in the house, they don't seem to care, you know. Yep. So there you go. I think Clancy's really like a... It almost looks like one of those show dogs or something. I mean, they're from those lines or whatever, but... I mean, he's so cool. There isn't one... He's just one color completely. No, I was going to get the siblings, but Clancy was one of the ones that was sent to me as well. And I decided to get Clancy and the Benny, who was the sibling of the other dog, Mac, that we were talking about. But I decided I liked Clancy better. So, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. Is he Applehead? He kind of seems like he's a little bit deer, like in between. Not sure what I have. Usually I get like allergies in here. This thing's firing away, you know, and then it brings in the pollen from what's in the filter. Probably should clean those out. But maybe I have a cold, I don't know. Thanks, Allie Cake. So anyways, and don't worry. Yesterday, like, hey Gray, when are you going to get rid of Blue's name off of there? When I feel like it, all right? So what I'll probably do is I'll put Blue up in the corner, maybe a little picture of him, and then we'll have, you know, I'll put the other dog, we got to figure out what the other names are before we do that, though, all right? Diesel and Duff. Well, let me just make a community post, and then we'll do a show where we vote like we did the last time. All right. Yeah, that way you guys are all part of naming the new freak dogs. Yeah, that Benny's going to be a long-haired. You know, they're still not. You know, their hair isn't fully grown out, but I think that's kind of what Clancy's going to be like. You know what they eat? Apparently, we have to every day we make them this sort of Purina puppy chow for puppies, I guess, and then you add a ping pong ball size of beef, or a quarter cup of that, ping pong ball size of beef, and then like a tablespoon of cottage cheese, and you mix it all up, and they like it. You know, that's pretty cool. Sounds like it's pretty good for them. Has the vitamins and the kibble, and then, you know, protein and everything. Scooby and Scrappy. Hey, I'll make a community post. You guys can put that in there. All right. Yeah, there's like the full shot. They have some still left over there. They kind of eat it throughout the day, I guess. Yeah, they're doing good. They're sitting right outside in that. See that little pink, that thing on the left, in the upper left? They're sitting on that right now, looking at them. Hey, thanks, K-Me, Scooby and Scrappy. Put it in as your votes when I post the pictures. Look at that. Anyways, pretty cool, huh? I know. They're pretty. It's interesting how when they're inside their little cage there, you know, it's like a surrounding. You have them fenced in, and then they have their own little place. They seem to like it, but they treat it like it's their own little thing in there. You know, if the other dogs are walking around outside, they're like, but then you let them out in with the rest of the dogs, and they're just all buddies. You know, my dog. Oh, he probably just went to the bathroom over there. I bet he just pooped. I just have a feeling. They're really good at, they were trained to poop on those little pads. Oh yeah, he must have pooped. He's wiping his butt now. Yeah. Yeah, I have like a cell phone that I use for the camera in there. But anyways, all right, you guys. There you go. And here's the coffee, if anybody wants to do the coffee thing. Yeah, there's like a crate in there. Yeah. We got them 2 days ago. Yeah, so I'm hoping Benny becomes more. I mean, maybe in a year you'll just seem totally friendly like everybody else. But anyways, all right, you guys ready? Oh yeah, this first one. There was no. Well, let's do this one first. All right, so this first one is Elisa Johnson, unsolved homicide victim, July 6, 2013, Grand Prairie, Texas. That's her. And there was one article. There wasn't any in newspapers.com, I don't think. But it says right here, Grand Prairie police say someone killed a young mother and left her toddler alone with her body. I mean, think how creepy that is. Neighbors at the Williamsburg apartment found a little girl wandering alone on Saturday and called police. And that is... Let's see. It's actually, yeah, her name is Elisa Kiki, like nickname Johnson. Hey, thanks, Gabrielle. So it's right in this apartment complex. Hey, thanks, Ellen. I know, I kept trying to get people not to say the other call Luigi Mangione LM. You know. Yeah, so it's this apartment complex. You just kind of picture it. I mean, it looks decent apartments, you know. And neighbors at the Williamsburg apartment found a little girl wandering alone on Saturday and called police. Officers searched the complex for the child's mom and soon discovered the child's apartment door open with her mother identified by the Dallas County Medical Examiner as Elisa Johnson dead inside. Crime scene tape remains at the residence Monday, but much of what happened inside the apartment remains a mystery. Police are not revealing much about the investigation, including how much of her mother's murder how much of her mother's murder the child may have seen or how she died. And this is back on I think what's the date on here? Yeah, July 8th, 2013. Back in the day. So investigators did reveal they're working to piece together a timeline of the final hours and moments of Johnson's life. Meanwhile, a candle burns and a memorial grows outside the Johnson apartment. Like many Grand Prairie neighbors, Daryl Floyd is heartbroken to think what may have happened inside. I was shocked, said Floyd, especially if she was there for a couple of days. I'm shocked. I mean, isn't that crazy? Like, that kid was in there, and did they figure out how to get out of the 3-year-old to get out of there? I mean, that's going to be something that lingers in that kid's life, because that's just so traumatic. I mean, I can't imagine them forgetting that. Yeah, I guess there was one on newspapers.com. There you go. So this right here. Police seeking help to find woman's killer. Police appealed for help Tuesday to find the killer of a 26-year-old woman who was found dead in her apartment July 6th. Hey, thanks, Toxic Tank. Authorities released a photograph of Elisa Johnson on Tuesday, hoping to get tips about her slaying. Officers were sent to the Williamsburg apartments in the 2400 block of South Carrier Parkway shortly after 9:30 a.m. July 6th, after a 911 caller reported that a 3-year-old child was walking around in the complex parking lot. The child, Johnson's 3-year-old daughter, led officers to the family apartment. The door was partly open, Detective Mark Bassetta said in a news release. God, that's crazy. The cause of Johnson's death is still pending. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. And then there's this right here. This actually gave the address, 2421, so that's how I knew I have the right address here. But this is one of those ones there's not a lot of information. And again, this is one of those cases where we talk about all the time, where I think if this, and this is a true phenomenon in true crime for those watching. And see how we only have 140 people watching because I don't have Luigi Mangione in the title. Isn't that sad? Yeah, so I mean, who gives a shit about Luigi Mangione? What a pile of crap that person is. I lost another 30 subs. I'm trying to get as many as possible to unsubscribe from my channel who think Mangione is a hero. Okay, I don't want you anywhere near my channel. I can tell you that right now. He is not a hero of any sort, of any kind. All right. But anyways, the phenomenon is that the media, when sex workers or black people and things like that, for a long time, they really don't cover the cases the same way they would do if it was a white person. That's just the truth. Imagine if this was a case of even in 2004, the year 2013 when this took place, if this was a similar thing with a white woman and this kid's walking around in the apartment complex and her mother's dead inside, it would be huge. It would be like a huge story. Everybody would be trying to figure things out. But this had one article, newspapers.com, very few articles on, if any, on, I mean, the internet had a couple, and it's just ridiculous, right? And so that's one of the things that I've observed. I didn't believe in any of that stuff when I first started doing true crime, but after covering thousands of cases, you notice a complete disparity every time you're covering cases regarding African American people, you know, and it's just the reality, and there's no political anything about it at all. It's just what the news media deems to be what'll sell views, right? That's the same why you got the YouTube channels out there that sell conspiracy theories, etc., because they do it for views. It's the same formula. But we should actually look at everybody's murder, regardless of who they are, the same, because these killers out there are killers. They actually killed somebody. They're psychos that are out there. And as a matter of fact, sex workers have become the new, or, you know, I'm not sure the new, but in the last 20, 30, almost 40 years now, the victims of serial killers, because people used to hitchhike, and people used to just be hitchhiking and get into somebody's car without knowing the person. Well, that stopped. So now the only people that really generally get into your car, there are still people that hitchhike, if you can believe that, but the only people that get into your car these days are sex workers, right? Like you pull up, they'll get into your car and you're a complete stranger, and those are the ones that the serial killers now focus in on and have been for a long time. And then and they do that for another reason too, is because they're not as they're not looked at as vigorously. For example, if you have a sex worker that was murdered or a 17-year-old girl walking home from school, well, that's going to be the number one case, where the sex worker, because law enforcement deems them as putting themselves in a dangerous situation, aren't worthy of the same level of investigation. You know, they do investigate them, but it's sort of triaged out. So what do you guys think of that, what I just said? Hey, thanks, Alley Cake and Toxic Tank. Happy Saturday. Appreciate all that you do and enjoy our community so much. All right. My aunt used to travel everywhere across the country by hitchhiking back in the man, that's so dangerous. Even then, I mean, it's ridiculous. But I mean, a lot more people would pick up hitchhikers too. All right, so let's see. Police were called. This is on Project Cold Case website. So it says police were called to it doesn't say that. It says called but it should be to the Williamsburg apartment on South Carrier Parkway near West Pioneer Parkway in Grand Prairie, Texas on July 6, 2013, after a 3-year-old child was found alone in the parking lot. When the girls showed officers where she lived, they found her 26-year-old mother on the floor inside. Elisa Johnson had been murdered and left in the apartment with the unharmed toddler for an unknown amount of time. Well, I wonder if they could, if there was food in her stomach or anything like that. Elisa Johnson had been murdered and left in the apartment with the unharmed toddler for an unknown amount of time. Elisa Johnson's last known contact with anyone was on July 3rd, 2013, between 10 and 11 p.m. Investigators have not released much information on the murder, but have asked for the public's help. Anyone with information is asked to call Grand Prairie Police Major Crimes Hotline at 972-237-8877. It doesn't say how, we don't know how she died. I'm kind of thinking she was strangled. And the reason I think that is because it's a very populated apartment complex, and you'd think a gunshot, people would have heard something, and that would have made it into the news. Okay, here's another. This is their larger thing on there. Let's see what it says. On Saturday, July 6, 2013, police were called to the Williamsburg apartment on South Carrier Parkway in Grand Prairie, Texas, in response to a toddler walking around the parking lot alone. The 3-year-old girl led officers to the apartment she shared with her 26-year-old mother, Elisa Johnson. Well, of course she shares it with. Hey, thanks, Michelle H. And Karen said, Queen Chloe and Princess Gracie treats too, 7 apiece. The first 2 donations were for Diesel and Duff. Now you have to get one more because your household is at a tie for ladies and a gentleman. Yeah, we got 2 females and 2 males. So there you go. Thank you, Karen. Officers found the door to the apartment ajar, so it was a little bit open there. But we know that the kid got out, so the 3-year-old even probably shut it. So I don't know if the ajar part really, the 3-year-old must have, created the disposition of the door. So officers found the door to the apartment ajar and Elisa deceased on the floor inside. Detectives believe her last known contact was on July 3rd, 2013, between 10 and 11 p.m. Investigators have remained tight-lipped and have not released much information publicly, but have asked for the public's help in solving the murder. No one knows exactly what Elisa's young daughter may have witnessed in that apartment or how long she had been left in there with her mother's body. Elisa's family has waited over 3 years now, so this was 4 years ago. Well, way more than that. This is 2016 is when this was written. That says it right there, actually. So that was, now it's been 11 years. Hey, look at that. We're 5 out of 30 up there. Cool. Officers found, okay, then it says, if you have any information on the unsolved murder of Elisa Johnson, please call the Grand Prairie Police Major Crimes Hotline at 972-237-8877. If you prefer to remain anonymous and possibly be eligible for a $1,000 reward. See, again, look at the reward amount. Like who the hell's going to turn on somebody for $1,000? You can call the Grand Prairie Crime Stoppers hotline at 972-988-8477. All right, so there you go. That is Elisa Kiki Johnson. And there's really like no information, anything about her. Even her, the victim, and isn't that crazy? So I got that one. And then let's go to, I think, Barbara Jean Robelen. This was from 1978. That one actually led to some other, the other case, the big one at the end. There's so much out there, it's crazy. This one link I had, there's like, I don't know, it looked like 30 killings all in the same area. All right, so let's see. This one is a 37-year-old convenience store clerk was reported missing early today from a 7-Eleven store on Experimental Farm Road and US 41 in Palmetto. And this is in Florida. And this is, the victim is Barbara Jean, and here we go. I got the 7-Eleven. Yeah, the 7-Eleven's there. Like I said before, 7-Elevens don't ever disappear. They just stay there forever. So there's the 7-Eleven right there. And this is Experimental Farm Road and US 41. So 37-year-old convenience store clerk was reported missing early today, and this is from October of 1978. And that was actually this day, October 23rd, 1978. When I say this, I mean at the top of the screen it shows it. A 37-year-old convenience store clerk was reported missing early today from a 7-Eleven store on Experimental Farm Road and US 41 in Palmetto, according to the Manatee County Sheriff's Department. Right now, we don't know if a robbery type abduction or just a missing person, said Lieutenant Mike Cleggs of the Criminal Investigation Bureau. Barbara Jean Robelen of Skyway Village was last seen in the store by a customer at about 2:30 a.m., according to police. Another customer, Royal Watts of 1305. Isn't that amazing how back then they used to give out the addresses of anybody who was even mentioned in articles? But hey, guys, if you can help support the channel tonight, help reach the goal. We're trying to, I don't know, I've tried this thing at the top, this goal thing. I wasn't sure if I entered it in correctly, but if you guys want to do the buy me a coffee or the super chats, that would be awesome. Thank you. Another customer, Royal Watts of 1305 30th Street, found the store unattended an hour later, police said. When store manager Jack Tuttle arrived, he found the cash register was empty. So was it a robbery or robbery of opportunity almost? I don't know. There was no sign of a struggle, police said. Police are checking the woman's neighborhood for background information. Robelen's husband told police his wife was in good spirits and had no problems at work. The Robelen's car was at their home. Mrs. Robelen walked to work. It really is a missing person as of this hour, but it doesn't rule out any other possibility either, Sheriff Tom Burton said. So right now, she's missing from, I'm sure all the, well, I guess that was there. That's right. So this is where she lived, right there. So of course you could just walk there. It's right around the corner. She lived in a mobile home park, and it's still there today, even though this is 1978. There's no street view in there, but she lived in that mobile home park back there and worked at this 7-Eleven and was abducted around 2:30 a.m. So it's interesting. I mean, she just lives right there and then walks here. Missing store clerk found dead. It says a 37-year-old Palmetto woman missing for 2 months. So this is December now. There was no other articles, believe it or not, after that first one. Barbara Jean Robelen of the Skyway Village Mobile Home Park, 420 49th Street East, was identified by the Manatee County Sheriff's Department. She had been missing since October 23rd, when she disappeared from the 7-Eleven store at US 41 and 49th Street East. The partly decomposed body was found at noon Sunday by a motorist who stopped to repair a flat tire, according to Detective Lieutenant Michael Cleggs. A 15-foot deep drainage ditch runs alongside the roadway, and the body was floating in 1.5 feet of water, hidden by tall cane grass, the detective said. An autopsy will be conducted today, Clegg said. Detectives do not believe Miss Robelen was sexually assaulted. However, no immediate cause of death was apparent. The body was found about 3 miles from the store, wearing the same clothing Mrs. Robelen wore the day she disappeared. A customer who entered the 7-Eleven at 3 a.m. on October 23rd found the cash register open and emptied of all but 60 cents. Police reported about $100 had been taken. They found no signs of a struggle. At the time, police questioned a hitchhiker, Lee McWilliams of Delaware, found asleep in a Goodwill box near the store. McWilliams told the detectives he had been in the 7-Eleven earlier in the evening and had purchased beer and tobacco from Mrs. Robelen. So he was in there earlier. Unable to find a ride, he crawled into the Goodwill box to sleep. That's just kind of a weird story. He heard no unusual noise, he told Detective. Clegg said that according to the cash register tape, there were some 8 purchases after those of McWilliams. Detectives are continuing their investigation. Mrs. Robelen is survived by her husband. So even after this Clegg's guy who slept in the Goodwill box, there were 8 more purchases after that. Alright, well, we had a good start going there, you guys, but we gotta keep on trucking, try to reach to that goal. Because we're I'm doing a risk again. I'm doing the cases that nobody ever talks about, and you can see the viewers. 157 people, 152,000 subscribers, 157 people watching, because a lot of people just don't give a shit unless it's one of the really important new current cases that everybody's talking about. Clerk's murder may be tied to similar Wakulla killing. Manatee County Sheriff's Department detectives are searching for links between the murder of a convenience store clerk in Manatee and north central Wakulla counties. Police admit it's a long shot, but hope the case of a 19-year-old Wakulla County clerk ties into the death of Barbara Jean Robelen, found murdered in a ditch along Canal Road near US 41 Sunday. Yeah, so where they say that it was right, so there's 2 spots. See, this is the one I thought. Like, this is Canal Road, and then this is the US 41 right here. And then I see this really kind of this huge, like, you know, that sort of made sense, right? But then another article gave an address of in the 2300 block, and that just doesn't really look like anything. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. Let's see if I go back a little bit. And it looks like there could be something there, but I don't know. Yeah, this just doesn't seem like what they were talking about. I think that first part up here seems more likely. That seems like a drainage ditch and really deep. Hey, thanks Lisa Valenzuela and Gabriel on Buy Me a Coffee. Let's see. Miss Robelen of Skyway Village Mobile Park died of multiple gunshot wounds. So she was just executed. So the person must live around there and maybe even knew who he was. Because I mean, it just seems so ridiculous to kill somebody. You're stealing and you kill them and just dump their body. But so that means that the person might know who they are. Miss Robelen of Skyway Village Mobile Home Park died of multiple gunshot wounds, according to Detective Lieutenant Michael Cleggs, heading up a full-time team assigned to the case. She'd been missing since October 23rd, when she disappeared from the 7-Eleven store at US 41 and 49th Street East. Her partially decomposed body was found at noon Sunday by a motorist who stopped to repair a flat tire. A 15-foot deep drainage ditch runs alongside the roadway, and the body was floating in 1.5 feet of water, hidden by tall cane grass, according to Cleggs. It is unlikely the same people could be involved in this crime because of the distance, 273 miles. At 11:30 p.m. December 12th, Miss Porter was abducted. Okay, that's a different story. All right. Yeah, and this one's where it says, the 7-Eleven convenience store clerk whose body was found in a ditch Sunday died of multiple gunshot wounds, according to an autopsy released Wednesday by the Manatee County Sheriff's Department. Barbara Jean Robelen, 37, of Skyway Mobile Home Village in Palmetto, had been missing since October 23rd. Lieutenant Mike Cleggs said her body was found in a refuse-filled ditch beside Canal Road in Palmetto by a motorist who had stopped to fix a tire. Cleggs said the remains were fully clothed and that the clothing fit the description of the clothing worn by Mrs. Robelen. He said there had been no sign of a struggle at the store on US 41, at the 7-Eleven, basically. Robelen had been held by a robber. About $100 was missing. There still were no conclusive leads on who lured Miss Robelen away. Yeah, it just seems like the killer must have known who she was, even if it was just he'd been in there many times. But it seems like it's even closer because there'd be no reason. Like, you could just go in, take the money, she could describe somebody, and you're just out of there. So the person must be from the area and she's seen before. Right? Said her absence was discovered by a customer at about 2:30 a.m. He found coffee still brewing, but the store empty. Miss Robelen is survived by her husband, Harry, and a foster son, Wayne. And there was like a 1993 article. Yeah, so this is pretty crazy right here. So I'm just going to read this one. Maybe this will lead to covering other ones. Actually, that's why I'm doing the main one at the end. But hey guys, if you're out there, if you could please help support the channel tonight. Started off well and then just collapsed into just dead as a doornail. So if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, that'd be great. Thank you. Gotta feel like it's worth doing even the other cases out there, you guys. Irma Liss spent her last night on Earth doing what she did most every night, playing cards with her best friend next door. List 85 returned home at about 10 p.m. June 9th, 1985. She undressed neatly, folded her clothes, and climbed into bed. It was more than 90 degrees during that sultry night at the Manatee Trailer Park, so she turned on her electric fan. Big, bear-like, and jovial Ron Wood spent his last night at work driving his taxi. It was about 10:30 p.m., February 11th, 1992. The dispatch operator heard a gurgling sound from the taxi radio, then nothing. Bobby Joe Fitt's sister was a half-hour late picking her up at a convenience store near her home, November 22nd, 1987. When she arrived, Fitz wasn't there. Liss, Woods, and Fitz were murdered in different ways, different years, and probably by different people, but there is one similarity. Their murders remain free. They are three of 35 unsolved murders in Manatee County in the last 20 years, despite months, sometimes years of... Look at all these. It's crazy. Police work on those cases. The families still are angry and hurt. The law enforcement officers frustrated. In most cases, investigators believe they know who committed the murders. They just can't prove it. But I mean, look at this crazy map here. They're just piled in this little area. That just seems like, really? Those are... Yeah. The scariest thing about these unsolved cases is for every case, there's a murderer out there. Someone is sleeping with a murderer, working with a murderer, eating with a murderer. A person who committed the most heinous crime the state can arrest you for. And she was on this page. Let's see. Yeah, so she's one of these here. But look at all these people. It's crazy. Barbara Jean Robelen, 19, found in the canal Christmas Eve in the 2700 block. See, that's why it doesn't make sense to me of Canal Road. There's nothing there, you know. 2700 block is over here. I guess we'll see what it looked like back in like 1995. I don't know, maybe there's something right there. I think that's got to be it. I don't know, something about this just doesn't make sense. I guess, you know, let's see where the 2600 block is. I guess something like that could be it. Let's see, 2600. Oh no, because it's 27 and 28's north of that. So it can't be that. Yeah, see, there's 2700 Canal Road. It's right there. Thank you, Grace Fullklutz. Is that how you say it? Grace Fullklutz? Not sure if I'm saying it right. Appreciate it. Yeah, just... yeah. Hope I said it right. Yeah, so there's just a ton in here. And so I was thinking of going over some of these other ones and seeing at some point using that as a... I mean, look at these. 93, 92, 92, 92, 91, 91, 91, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 88, 88, 87. Yeah, some of these have to be related. Have to be. I mean, just look at the tiny... Out of the 33, they're just all right here. In this area. I mean, it looks small on a map, but it's kind of small just anyways. Crazy. What's that one? Sheriff Detective Ned Foy was headed for home shortly after midnight when he got a call. A woman's body was found in an undeveloped cul-de-sac just north of Sarasota. When Foy returned his car around in the early morning hours, June 15, 1991, he did not know he was about to start an investigation that so far has no end in sight. Foy, 21 years in law enforcement, did not prepare him for what he found. The young woman's head was wedged in the storm drain. She had been viciously attacked, stabbed at least 30 times in the neck, face, and body. She either tried to seek cover or someone tried to jam her in the storm drain. Not too far away, Debbie Whitmer's grandmother... Okay, is that what her name is? She never was late. I might have to take a look at that one, too, on the side. I mean, that's just nuts. Alright. Yeah, I think there's one more here. Yeah, this is just something that's her, by the way. That's Barbara Jean Robelen right there. And let me see what this says. It's kind of small writing, but... Barbara was kidnapped and killed in 1978. Below is what is found on the web. Contacted on September 5th, 2024 by a cold case detective who was researching the homicide of Barbara Robelen. Wow, so just September 5th this year. He had a record that she married Harry Robelen in New York. His research said Barbara Jean Robelen was abducted on October 23rd, 1978. Hey, thanks Michelle H. for the coffee. Barbara Jean Robelen was abducted on October 23rd, 1978 from 7-Eleven store at Experimental Farm Road and US 41 in Palmetto, Florida. While she was working as a store clerk, that's what she was doing. Further information from police reports, Barbara Jean Van Ewingen, born May 8, 1948, in Newburgh, New York. His death, December 24th, 1978. Parents, Carl. So that's her maiden name, Van Inwigen. All right, so let's see. Barbara Robelen, homicide, October 27th, 1978. Manatee County Sheriff. Case number 1978-102996. Hey, thanks, Plato. Going for the flyby. Barbara Robelen, on October 23rd, 1978. She was abducted from the 7-Eleven store. Let's see. At one time, law enforcement got a confession from Henry Lee Lucas. That guy, what a joke that guy is. That guy confessed to every single... I bet he didn't even do 2. But in subsequent years, it was learned that most of the confessions from he and Otis Toole were fabricated. Her case is listed on Manatee County's unsolved list. If anyone knows anything, please contact the Manatee County Sheriff with case number 1978-102996, Bradenton, Florida. Well, there you go. That was that one. See, isn't that just crazy how they're like, these cases are out there and they're not popular, so there's very, it's not like everybody's digging around finding every little tiny thing, and they're old too. Like a lot of the really old ones, they didn't have the luxury of people on the internet digging around, etc. Hey, thanks, Alley Cake. Now, well, they were basically wanting Henry Lee Lucas. Henry Lee Lucas was used as a clearinghouse by a bunch of lazy detectives and people out there that they weren't getting anywhere, so they used him. They would actually have these people sort of feed him some information, and then he would seem sort of knowledgeable. Oh, we could clear that one. I mean, what a joke that whole thing was. All right. So the next one is Jennifer Leanne Law. And this has no newspaper articles at all. But it was interesting finding the crime scene. Was very difficult for me to locate, but I actually ended up finding it almost by miraculous. Somehow I was clicking on something and my street view went down a road. Oh, there it is. It was just so bizarre. I was looking at it for 30 minutes. I couldn't figure it out. So here she is. This is 2007. Project Cold Case. New submission, Jennifer Law. Not sure when the date of that is. October 4th, it looks like. On September 15th, 2007. Jennifer Leanne Law's partially burned body had been found in a secluded area on Hoyt Avenue near Boone Street. Yeah, but that's just not accurate right there. Well, thanks, Plato. Yeah, it was just kind of weird. Let's see. Near Boone Street in Knoxville, Tennessee. Jennifer had bruises on her face and arms that investigators believed were consistent with a struggle. Her cause of death was strangulation, and investigators... Let's see. Her cause of death was strangulation, and investigators determined that her body was burned after she had died. That means there was no soot in her lungs, and that means she wasn't breathing when she was set on fire. Police said that Leanne may have been last seen in a black truck or a gold Toyota Corolla. Man, those couldn't be too different. Anyone with information concerning Jennifer Leanne Law's murder is asked to call the Knoxville Police Homicide Unit at 865-215-7317. To remain anonymous and possibly be eligible for a reward, call East Tennessee Valley Crime Stoppers at 865-215-7165. Please remember that these victims are submitted to us by their family. Our organization does not investigate cases. We advocate, educate, and help raise awareness. Speculation on the details of the case is not helpful on this platform. Okay, well, it's not there, but I think if you use facts and speculate based on the facts, you can... This one just... I don't know how much information there is, but comments that are deemed inappropriate and are potential hurtful will be removed. This is Instagram, but Project Cold Case is what it is. Oh, thanks, Sandy, for the buy me a coffee. Oh, and also, was that me? Oh, Benjamin on PayPal.
Every year, the Knoxville Police Department investigates a number of homicides. Most are solved and cleared thanks to the hard work of the officers and investigators, but some remain a mystery. These cases are still open, weighing.
I have 7 kids. She grew up like 1 in 7.
I think this is the daughter of Jennifer Law.
Kids.
Wait, what did it say? Sister? Yeah, victim's daughter, yeah.
7 kids. She went by Leanne specifically, mostly. Lily or Pocahontas. I remember the night before we all had went to the fair.
On September 15th of 2007, police received a call from a neighborhood resident that there was a body found near Hoyt Street, near Boone Street, in a secluded area. Investigators responded and located a female.
Yeah, so look at this. So they said, man, it's so weird how hard it is to... I mean, this one...
Police received a call from a neighborhood resident that...
All right, so I was looking at Hoyt and Boone Street, right? Oh, we'll go to that, this case. Right, so Hoyt and Boone Street is right there. So if they told you, when you read it, you know, you look at an article and it says, oh yeah, Hoyt and Boone Street. And that's Boone, and that's Hoyt. So you'd think, okay, like right somewhere right here, etc. This is Boone Street, but turns out it's way down here. Like, that's Boone. So it's actually a little closer to whatever the hell street that is. Maybe that's not even a street. Let's see. Yeah, so it's Crockett Street. That would have been... Well, her body was found closer to Boone, right? But check this thing out. I don't even know what I was doing. It just somehow I hit a button and it went down a street. Really strange. But if you go right there... Here, I'll show you. It's really weird to watch. See, like this right here is that. And it's just off to the right. So look at the building in the background. You got the 2 windows right there. Those are right there, those 2 windows. And there's like this tree right there is this one. It just doesn't look the same now at all. It doesn't look like this. Hey, thanks, Linda Howe. So you see how that building's back there, but the camera guy, he's standing in the woods over there. Doesn't look like this. So you got that one. And then let's see what the next one is. Did they already have one already? Okay, let's see.
On September 15th of 2007, police received a call from a neighborhood resident that there was a body found near Hoyt Street.
All right, now this one really shows you. So that right there, see, you can see it. Just look at the screen right now. Like, look at this, and let me get that one back out. See? There's the little steps that go down. There's that. That pole is this one right here. So that means the camera guy is standing over off to the right there. Just off to the right. And this shot right here is basically where the victim is laying on the ground. So you're looking that direction. Just a little bit further to the right, because see that tree? It needs to be closer to the door. The way to do that is you got to move off to the right near these bushes here.
Near Boone Street, in a secluded area. Investigators
and then right here,
responded and
see, there's her body right there, right? Now, when you're looking over here, doesn't that just look like sky and everything back there? Like just kind of cloudy and all that stuff? But watch. It's not really. It's a building. So, I mean, so what we're looking at right here in this shot is that road right there is this. So you got to move the camera again over to the left a little bit. And then look, that right there is that. There's a side of the building that goes way up right there and then down. It's just the type of camera. And then those three windows right there are these three. And then you can see two of these three there. And then you can actually make out some of the stuff back there. But that means the body was right there, basically. Right in this spot. And so what I think, based on seeing where her body is found, is that this person knew this area here. I mean, how did you know that there was this really kind of an area where it's just really nobody's there? You know, it's like a industrial area at the end of a block. I mean, I don't know if anybody would even have realized that. If you just live there. There's probably people that live right over there that don't even know that there's this crazy little spot back here. And one of the things that was making it difficult is, see that building's not even there now. Okay, but watch when we go back. There it is. It's there in 2016. That's the one that has that rail, the red building with the rail on it. And amazingly, this actually goes back to 2007 September. So this is like right at the time. I mean, she got killed right now. I mean, in September of 2007. So that means that this satellite image is within 2 or 3 weeks. Hey, thanks Vicky White and Carolina T. Hey, thank you. Hey, don't tell people that though. It actually feels good to do these again though. I mean, I miss doing them. They just became, they're not, I've explained it 100 times. Yeah, so let's see if we get rid of roads here. That's what it looked like back then. I wonder if there's a better one. Yeah, I think this is the one that is the best one to look at. You can just see everything. So right there, this is 2009. There's a little curve that goes around. That is on this video right there. It goes around right there. There's the building. That building is this one here with this. See that square? That's the part that goes up high. And the body was found right in there. I would actually move this over probably a little bit, like right there, next to the bushes. So that's where she was found. So don't you guys think that may, just really indicates that the person knew the area and maybe even is from, like at least works in one of these buildings and knew that existed?
located a female, partially burned, face down. The female turned out to be a Jennifer Leanne Law. She had bruises on her face and her arms, consistent with the struggle.
Hey, Carolina T, I wanted to say thank you for, I got that great watercolor that you made of blue all those years ago. Looks just like him. I have it behind me on the wall. You see it right there. It's right there. So thank you.
The cause of death was strangulation, and then post-mortem was the burning of the body. She frequented areas of high narcotics trafficking and things.
So she frequented areas of, you said, narcotics. She might have been a sex worker.
Like that. Investigators believe that she may have been involved in prostitution at the time, so her daily routine was not a routine per se.
Well, that evening we ended up at my house, all of us, and my father pulled us in the room and had told us that we no longer had a mother, that she had passed away. I remember dropping to my knees and screaming, yelling. She had many struggles, anything to get her fix, her drug. She was loved. She was a sister, a mother, a daughter. She was a lot to us. She wasn't just some girl running around the streets, She did love us, and she showed us that up until the day she died. I'm missing out a lot. She doesn't see my baby growing up, my sister's baby. There was a lot that my grandmother and aunt had to teach me because my mom wasn't there.
It could have been an accident. It could have been a fight that got out of hand, but it was definitely a personal encounter.
Thanks, Heidi.
The bruising on her face, the strangulation, there was a struggle of some sort. This isn't something that you normally see. In looking at the autopsy and the fact that her body was burned after she was dead, tells me there was some sort of attempt by the suspect to cover up any evidence that was left.
So it could be that she died of a drug overdose in the person, but he must have had a sexual encounter with her for him to even care about burning her like that. He thought it would destroy all the evidence that he was there.
Sister remembers seeing her possibly seen in a black truck, but she also heard that she was last seen in a gold Toyota Corolla. The sister stated that she had a drug dealer that she used by the name of Black, who drove a gold Dodge Intrepid and a black Cadillac. The most current boyfriend, investigators attempted to interview him on the day after the incident. He refused to talk. There are multiple possibilities there, and then again, the possibility that she was picked up by someone that she didn't know.
It's been a long time. And I feel like a lot of people just brush it off like it's nothing, but it's a big deal to us.
September is definitely the time of the fair, so the fair would have been going on at that time. If anybody that's seen her on September 14th or 15th or spoken with her on the phone, anybody that has information about the drug dealer Black or any of the vehicles that we've...
Her drug away. I remember dropping to my
and things like that.
That's why
she frequented areas of high narcotics trafficking and things like that.
The places.
Investigators believe that she may have been involved in prostitution at the time, so her black truck, but she also heard that she was last seen in a gold Toyota Corolla. The sister stated that she had a drug dealer that she used by the name of Black, who drove a gold Dodge Intrepid and a black Cadillac. The most current boyfriend, investigators attempted to interview him on the day after the incident. He refused to talk. There are multiple possibilities there, and then again, the possibility that she was picked up by someone that she didn't know.
It's been a long time. And I feel like a lot of people just brush it off like it's nothing, but it's a big deal to us.
September is definitely the time of the fair, so the fair would have been going on at that time. If anybody that's seen her on September 14th or 15th or spoken with her on the phone, anybody that has information about the drug dealer Black or any of the vehicles that we've discussed, or anybody that may have overheard some information. If anybody remembers seeing a fire in the area, I would encourage you, even if you've spoken to investigators in the past, to please call me.
There's not a day that goes by we don't think of her. And I know that someone will find it in their hearts to help us out and give us the information we need to put this aside and to put our hearts at ease. Thank you.
Yeah,
If you have any information on this case, please call.
Wouldn't that be great if like this became a really popular case that everybody was digging into? It just doesn't happen.
Call Investigator Madison at 865-215-7021 or call Anonymous to the crime hotline at 865.
I mean, they didn't really explain. Did they say how she died in there? I don't remember. I know that she had smoke inhalation. Did they didn't find anything else there, right? Hey, thanks, Christina Hayes. Every dollar counts. Every dollar counts.
215-7212.
I'm missing out a lot.
To be a Jennifer Leanne Law. She had bruises on her face and her arms,
so she was attacked.
consistent with the struggle.
Yeah, now it sounds like she was killed, right? Because she had bruises on her arm and there was a struggle, and
the cause of death was strangulation.
Oh, it was strangulation. Okay. Right. So there you go, obviously. So this could be a serial killer. I mean, that's the thing. These kind of people who kill like that, those are serial killer in the making, right? I mean, you take somebody and you beat them and then you strangle them to death. You know? I guess you could say unless it's somebody that she knew and there was some other reason for it, but it sounds like she was a sex worker, did some drugs, and then there's this person who, maybe a John of some sort, who picked her up and killed her. You know? I don't know. Might be somebody that knew her and didn't want God, I don't know. I mean, hopefully they collected DNA from her. I guess that's one of the things that makes it difficult when you're doing DNA swabs internally. When you're a sex worker, there could be all kinds of different people in there. But I guess you could, test and see. Was she fully clothed? It sounded like. Let me listen to that part again.
Police received a call from a neighborhood resident that there was a body found near Hoyt Street, near Boone Street, in a secluded area. Investigators responded and located a female, partially burned, face down. The female turned out to be a Jennifer Leanne Law. She had bruises on her face and her arms, consistent with the struggle. The cause of death was strangulation, and then post-mortem was the burning of the body.
Yeah, who the hell would do that? Jeez.
She frequented areas of high narcotics trafficking and things like that. Investigators believe that she may have been involved in prostitution at the time, so her daily routine was not a routine per se.
That's crazy.
Well, that evening we ended up at my house, all of us, and my father pulled us in the room and had told us that we no longer had a mother, that she had passed away.
Jeez, what a nightmare. Hey, thanks Herbert Landscaping. And thank you to Municipality. Thanks for all you do, Gray. Happy Saturday. Well, thank you. Yeah, you need somebody to say something. Yeah, one of the problems is people like having too many angles in the true crime world, but nobody cares about these kinds of cases. You know, that's the problem. It's like this case here, she was killed. I mean, she's a sex worker. There's no reason to kill somebody, right? Because you're going to, you know, you're paying for whatever you're doing, I guess. And that's just, you know, doesn't make any sense. So it sounds like when people kill sex workers, it always makes me think something else. That they're serial killers or something with that kind of mindset. Yeah, it's Knoxville. Mm-hmm. It's like an industrial area where she was found. There are some homes right here. But I feel like the person knew the area because of where this is. I mean, this is sort of off a main street, and then to know that there's this place back here where there's, you know, it's an industrial area, so at night nobody's going to be here or here, but there are people that live there, but you pull in right there and nobody can tell. And I think even this might even be, it's not a house, I don't think. Yeah, see, that's industrial. And so you drive, you know, look at this. And this might not even have been open at the time. I mean, I guess there is stuff there. It just looks really run down. This thing isn't here anymore. So this is a 2019 Street View, and it's still there. Thank God. Because I wouldn't, or now this is 2014. That's the building that's in the background. And her body was found, based on those images, right there. Yeah, right in that spot. So we'll take a look at that again. That's this building right there is the one we were just looking at. So if I turn around, go back this way, like this camera shot, there it is. There's those steps right there. See, just like that, right there. But the camera's off to the right in this image, so it's back. It's right there, the camera is, and the body is right here, because if you turn around and go the other, look at this shot right here, that's this, and, you know, back in the background is this big building, has a facade sort of front there that goes way up like that, and that's what this is right there. Kind of slopes up right there and then up. You can't see it very well because it's blown out in that image, but there's the road that goes around right there. So, you know, and you can even kind of see that the bushes go out like that. Yeah, it's probably even that, like the tree maybe back in there is that makes those branches. But anyways, that's it. There you go. That's all we have on that one. Such an awful looking place. Well, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't, I don't think it would look that bad. Like if you were just walking around, you were some kid on a bike or something, but that was definitely the building. That building is not there anymore. Watch. So there it is on Google Earth. Oh, that's not it. It's right here. So yeah, it's not there. They ripped it down. And you'll see when I showed this earlier, but other people showed up, so I'm showing it. So there it is right there. Goes around. There's where the body was. The camera was facing back that way. And it's just not there now. So it would have been really tough. It was getting difficult. I actually don't know how I was doing Street View using Google Maps and went down a road and I looked and, oh, yeah, there's a red building. And I don't even know how I did it. I was in the right spot. I just couldn't find the place. It was so weird. I wish I could explain it or replay it, whatever that was. But there it is. No, they didn't say what it doesn't really matter what the building business was. She was taken there by a killer. But the building's not there anymore, so there's a connection somehow. Is that what you're saying? I guess we could go look. No, doesn't say anything. I think if a person worked there, they'd be stupid to put a body right there. I think the person knew of the area. They could be, I guess they could work in this industrial area somewhere and knew of this little back street here. Because I definitely think somebody has to have known that was there. God, how many times are you going to ask me about the JonBenet Ramsey thing? My God. YouTube needs to sort out this shit. Constantly stuck in top chat. No notification. I'm always on top chat when I come in. I forgot to move it. All right, but you guys, we're currently at, what about 60%, so it'd be great if you guys can, there's some kind of goal thing I was trying at the top. I don't know if I did it right or not, but if you guys can help support the channel, that'd be awesome. I know you guys have been doing it already. But now we're moving on to the main featured one that I found while I think I was looking at the Barbara Jean Robelen one. And this one's crazy. I mean, I've never even heard of it. But it's referred to as the Kingfish boat ramp murder. Yeah, we're 9 of gold, but I think I should have made the goal differently than that. But if we can do that, man, we'd have a decent night. I know I've had 19 different people ask the same thing on JonBenet Ramsey. I mean, I think I've talked about it before, but that thing's been covered to death, And if I didn't say exactly what the experts said, oh my God, you don't know shit, Gray, you're this and that, it's not worth it. Alright, this is a Kingfish boat ramp murder. Really weird one. Strange. So this happened on August 1st, 1980. I think it was Tampa. Is that right? Yeah, it's in Florida. It's crazy though. I mean, they have pictures in here that are so graphic, but that's how it was. So 5 persons were shot Friday afternoon near the intersection of State Road 64. So this one I haven't done. I thought it'd be cool to just do it while we're doing it, but I have the folder set up. So this is the intersection of State Road 64. State Road 789. I guess they call it Manatee Avenue. Let's see if we can find it. Florida 789. Yeah. Florida Road and Manatee Avenue. I think it's right here. Right, so in this area, that's what we have so far. All right, 5 persons were shot Friday afternoon near the intersection of State Road 64, Manatee Avenue, and State Road 789, Gulf Drive, leaving 2 dead, 2 in critical condition, and a 5th in serious condition. Leaving 2 dead and 2 in Police investigators speculated the shootings, which occurred minutes apart in 2 separate incidents, were the work of the same man. There were no arrests in the case through midnight Friday. Robert Matsky, whose age was unknown by police, of West Bay Cove condominiums in Holmes Beach, died after sustaining a bullet wound to the back of the head as he sat in his Fiat convertible in front of Foodway Market on Gulf Drive. Is that still there? Foodway Market. That's not there. Is there like a food market on Gulf Drive? Okay, there's public. Okay, let's just think maybe this is it right here. This is close. So here's a market. Just guessing here. There's usually a good chance because you guys notice, right? Your whole lives where you live, the same grocery stores are still sitting there right now. But hey, guys, let's see if we can try to reach that goal tonight. You guys, we're covering cases tonight that nobody will ever talk about, but everybody wants me to do these cases, and I like doing these cases. But we got to make it so that they do just as well, in terms of reaching the goal on the channel, right? Because it's like we've been trying these different tests out, and it's like, man, those nights are the worst I ever have. So let's try to get try to reach that goal, all right? So the other victim, Dr. Juan, how do you pronounce that? Like Dumois or something like that? Or Demoy? Or the other victim, Dr. Juan Demoy, 47, of 32 Sandpiper Drive, Tampa, died at Blake Memorial Hospital at 11:10. Let's see where that is. So he lives at 32 Sandpiper Drive. It's right there, I guess. And this is Dr. Juan Dumois. Okay. That's what I was thinking, the first one. Except a lot of people, like Illinois, Dr. Juan Dumois, 47 of 32 Sandpiper Drive, Tampa, died at Blake Memorial Hospital at 11:10 p.m., where he was taken after being shot. Shanafelt said Dumois was one of 4 persons shot in a station wagon west of Kingfish boat ramp. So is that still there? Kingfish boat ramp. Hey, thanks, Lisa. All right, there we go. Kingfish boat ramp. This is a crazy story, you guys. I'm just trying to get everything mapped out. So now we can... Schenefeld said Dumois was one of 4 persons shot in a station wagon west of the Kingfish boat ramp on Manatee Avenue, just east of the Foodway. Boat ramp on Manatee Avenue. So is it, which one's Manatee Avenue? Is it this one? Yeah, Manatee Avenue. And it said just east of the food. Okay, so we must not have the... I almost think that... I bet if we went back in time, that these aren't homes or something. Well, they're 2002. Okay, that's 1998 here. This is still 18 years after the incident. 95. Yeah, now there's no maps. Sucks. Hey, thanks, Karen. I'm sorry, Gray. This is all I can give. Oh, yeah, it's okay. A lot of medical bills. Well, you don't have to... I'd rather have you pay for your medical bills than send anything to me, but I can't keep my eyes open any longer. So, night, Gray, and night, Freak, family, and I'll put the pictures out on the on my community post of each dog will have their own post, and you guys can come up with names. You guys named Chloe and you named Gracie, so we'll use their names that they have currently as their middle names on paperwork or something. All right. Let's see. Schenefeld said Dumois was one of 4 persons shot in a station wagon west of Kingfish boat ramp on Manatee Avenue, just east of the Foodway, at what was believed to be a related incident. The remaining victims were identified as Dumois' son Eric, age 13, and Mark, age 9. They were listed in critical condition at Blake Memorial Friday night. A passenger, I mean, look how crazy this is, the picture here. Like, that's one of the... A passenger in front seat of the station wagon beside Dumois was identified as Raymond Barrows, 52, of 2431 Southwest 84th Avenue in Miami. He was listed in serious condition. Schenefeld said his officers received a call at around 5 p.m. According to witnesses, the station wagon pulling a boat left the roadway, jackknifed, and slid next to a tree. The station wagon occupants reportedly had been fishing. Schenefeld said officers David Jones arrived and found each of the 4 occupants had been shot in the head. Officer Jones was on the scene only a couple of minutes. At this point, you're thinking, oh man, maybe it's one of the guy that survived. Officer Jones was on the scene only a couple of minutes and started first and called for an ambulance. At that point, the dispatcher advised him there had been another shooting at the Island Foodway Market. Responding officers found Matsky slumped into the passenger seat of his car with a gunshot wound to the head. Schenefeld said they were investigating the possibility of a hitchhiker in the Dumois auto. A witness at the Foodway Market indicated to us there was a white male talking to Matsky, but they didn't seem to be arguing. Matsky put his car into gear and attempted to pull away, Schenefeld said, at which point the man pulled a handgun and shot Matsky. Isn't that wild? I mean, what's going on there, right? No, it's not an argument or anything. The incidents appear related, but we just don't know right now, Schenefeld said. One possibility, the chief said, was that Matsky witnessed the shooting of the people in the station wagon and followed the person to the market where he confronted him. Shanafelt also said all of the shootings were with a smaller caliber gun. The chief said the only description was that the suspect was a young, stockily built with brown hair and reportedly driving a Chrysler product, light tan with a dark top. The description conflicted with descriptions broadcast over radio communications networks by other local police agencies. Hold on a second. All right. The chief said the only description was that the suspect was young, stockily built, light tan with a dark top, I guess, was his car, I guess. The description conflicted with descriptions broadcast over radio communication networks by other local police agencies. The suspect repeatedly was described as a young, with slender build, 6 feet tall, and approximately 140 to 150 pounds, and the car he reportedly was driving was described as a Chrysler or Ford product with a tan vinyl top and rust brown bottom. There were no witnesses to any of the shootings, the chief said. Although one person, well, there must have been a witness, because didn't somebody say that above? There were no witnesses to any of the shootings, the chief said, although one person heard a loud bang before the station wagon left the road. Shanafelt said there was a bullet hole in the front window of the station wagon on the driver's side, but it hadn't been determined if the shot was fired from interior or the exterior. Lena Clark, who was in the store when the shooting occurred, said she saw two men talk briefly in the parking lot, then saw a man who had been in a brown Cordoba pull out what appeared to be a gun and shoot at the other man. So it was witnessed. After the shot, or maybe they meant no witnesses of the first shooting. After the shot, are you guys even here? There's like 2 comments in the last 10 minutes. After the shot, Matsky, a retired lieutenant colonel, slumped over in the still running car, which veered around in a parking lot, smashing into a car owned by Ken and Mary Wooten, a witness said. Officers are processing the 2 vehicles, which are locked up in the city garage, and my detective Mike Grace is consulting with the state attorney general's office. Yeah, I mean, so like there's the guy on the ground right there they're working on. Look at both those kids right here. It's crazy. All right, here we go. Wow, so I think I'm close. I mean, this is exactly what I have on the map here. Right, let's see. Yeah, so that grocery store is this one, Matsky's car. And then they have, here's a little point that comes out, and they have it about like right here, right when the car is pulling out of this. Maybe we can, that's cool. I hadn't even seen that yet. Hello? Anybody there? Anybody there? Hasn't been a comment for 10 minutes. Yep. Wow. Whenever there's no comments, I have no chance of reaching the goal. That means nobody's engaged, nobody's interested. It's just sort of a boring... do you guys want me to continue on this, or what? It seems like it's an interesting story, but if you guys aren't interested, I won't do it. Because I can just tell. Zozo made her comment like 15 or 20 minutes ago, and there's only 3 since then. And that's when you know people aren't engaged. So if you're interested, let me know. Right. Everybody's working while listening. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, the death toll rose to 4 Saturday in a mystery shooting episode along Florida Gulf Coast, and police combed the resort area for a tall, slim, unshaven gunman. The latest to die late Saturday morning was the 13-year-old son of a Tampa physician. His 9-year-old brother succumbed earlier in the morning. The boy's father and a retired Air Force officer died Friday. Police had no clues to the motive for the shooting or the identity of the killer. Holmes Beach Police Chief Tom Shanafelt identified the dead as Dr. Juan Dumois, 46, of Tampa, who died several hours after the shooting. Dumois' son, Eric, 13, and Mark, 9, who died Saturday morning at the Bradenton Hospital, and retired Air Force Colonel Robert Maskey, 58. And by the way, we have no new channel members or anything tonight. So if you guys can help get the channel members going, something, that'd be great. It wasn't those, that's not correct. I already know the answer, so you're incorrect. That's why I told you that earlier, so you wouldn't keep going down that route. Shanavelt said Raymond Barrows, 52, of Miami, a friend of Dumois' family, was listed in serious condition at Bradenton Blake Memorial Hospital. All 5 were shot in the head, apparently by a small caliber automatic, said Shanafelt. Police believe the gunman was clad only in red shorts or cutoffs, but some witnesses told us he wore jeans and a t-shirt. We just don't know, Shanafelt said. The gunman, an unsatisfied patient, come on, Gene, Jesus. The gunman fled in a Chrysler automobile, which he apparently picked up in a parking lot of a shopping center. I mean, I guess it's possible, Gene Fish. It's just, I think you're saying it just because we had the Luigi Mangione case. The gunman fled in a Chrysler automobile, which he apparently picked up in the parking lot of a shopping center about 3 blocks from the scene of the first 4 shootings. Police said he may have ridden to the parking lot on a missing bicycle belonging to one of the victims. Wow, that's kind of weird. Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley. We got True Psych Ward, Shay, MCIA, Gen V, and Eve Loves God. Thank you. Let's see. The gunman fled in a Chrysler automobile. That's weird, which he apparently picked up in the parking lot of a shopping center. So isn't that weird? Like, here, see, the whole family went out fishing. So he must have known that this person knew that they were coming back. And then he asks, or, you know, well, I guess what we do find out later is this is just some hitchhiker guy. And he got in the car and he kills all of them. And then he makes his way back, but somebody was following him into this parking lot and asked him questions, and then he got shot. That was like the Markle guy. So anyways, let's see. The gunman fled in a Chrysler automobile, which he apparently picked up at the parking lot of the shopping center, about 3 blocks from the scene of the first 4 shootings. Police said he may have ridden to the parking lot on a missing bicycle belonging to one of the victims. Officers were uncertain whether the getaway car was his or a stolen vehicle, but there were no immediate reports of a stolen car. The shooting occurred at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Friday, shortly after the physician, his son, his sons, and Barrows returned from a fishing trip. They hauled their boat out of the water and onto a trailer at the Palma Sola Bay ramp in Holmes Beach and drove westward on Manatee Avenue. Witnesses heard shots and saw the car swerve out of control. It jackknifed with the trailer and crashed in front of the West Bay apartments where Matsky lived. Wow. Is that still there? I bet it's right here. I bet that's West Bay Apartments, right? Okay, let's just say, what are these called right here? Yeah, I bet you these are the apartments they're talking about. That's what it looks like anyways. Let's see what it says. I don't know if that's an apartment or that's like condos or what that is, but that's weird. So Matsky, one of the victims, well, the victim that was at the market, he just lived right over here in an apartment complex. So let's see. It's pretty crazy. We assume the gunman was in the car when he shot the occupant. Okay. The shootings occurred about 5 p.m. Friday, shortly after the physician, his son, and Barrows returned from a fishing trip. They hauled their boat out of the water and into the trailer at the Palma Sola Bay ramp in Holmes Beach and drove westward on Manatee Avenue. Witnesses heard shots and saw the car swerve out of control. It jackknifed with the trailer and crashed in front of the West Bay apartments where Matsky lived. We assumed the gunman was in the car when he shot the occupants, the police chief said. Some officers theorized the gunman may have been a hitchhiker. Matsky heard the shots and the crash and went to investigate. According to reports, he saw a man with a gun fleeing the scene. Witnesses said Matsky drove off in his open sports car and caught up with the fleeing gunman in the food store parking lot. Witnesses said Matsky got out of his car, talked briefly with the gunman, then got back in his car and began to drive away. The gunman shot Matsky in the back of the head, jumped in a Chrysler, and sped off, police said. Holmes Beach, so the killer went back to the parking lot at the grocery store to get into his own car, but, he didn't know, Matsky followed him over there to ask him, like, hey, what's going on? And then when Matsky was driving away, he shot him, and then he got into his Chrysler and drove away. Holmes Beach is a string of narrow island running south along the coast off Bradenton and Sarasota. And this is another, look at this, look how crazy, it's just like just an insane situation here. Yeah, and then you think, oh, okay, it's the survivor, but no, it's not the survivor. There's this other person. So there it is. A hitchhiker in the back seat of a station wagon opened fire with a pistol on 4 other people in the car, killing a doctor and his 9-year-old son and wounded 2 other, police said today. A short time after that late Friday incident, a retired Air Force officer was shot to death a quarter-mile away, possibly by the same gunman. Witnesses say the victim had... Witnesses say the victim had apparently witnessed the station wagon shooting and followed the gunman in his car. Police offered a reason for the slangs as a expanded search for the gunman by putting out a statewide alert. Police identified the dead as Dr. Juan Demois, 46, of Tampa, his son Mark, 9, and Lieutenant Colonel Robert Matsky, 58, of Holmes Beach. Demois and Matsky died soon after being shot. Young Mark died early today of a head wound, said spokeswoman Nell Sarek. She said the other 2 victims, 13-year-old Eric Demois and Raymond Barrows, both passengers in the station wagon, were hospitalized. Eric is in critical condition. Well, he died later, obviously. Tom Shanafelt, police chief in the seaside town of Anna Maria Island and the southern end of Tampa Bay, said investigators were working on the assumption that there was one gunman involved. He said the victims were all shot with a small caliber handgun. Investigators were still piecing together the details today as they hunted for a stocky 25-year-old with dark curly hair and wearing red shorts. Hey, thanks, Lisa, for the buy me a coffee. All right. Uh-huh. And here's a, the Demois family: Juan A. Jr., Eric E., and then Mark A. So I guess up here, funeral services for Juan Antonio Demois Jr., MD, age 46, and his two sons, Eric Enrique Demois, age 13, and Mark. I wonder what the deal is with the mom. Age 9 will be held at noon Tuesday at Christ the King Catholic Church, at which time a Mass of the Resurrection will be offered for the repose of their souls, and interment will follow in Myrtle Hill Memorial Park. Dr. Demois had been a resident of Tampa for 17 years and was a member of the Hillsborough County Medical Association. Survivors include his wife, Mrs. Marie S. Demois, son Juan A. Demois III, daughter Anna Marie Demois, all, let's see, so hold on. Yeah, the third, I think, is a doctor now. Survivors include his wife, Mrs. Marie Demois, and his son, Juan A. Demois. Now, I think that son is a doctor today. I think so. I mean, it lives in the same name and everything. Hey, thank you, Employee of the Month. And yes, you guys, we're currently at about 75% of the goal. Trying to reach that goal tonight so we can do our flyby, kind of a challenge. I don't know if we can get to what the goal thing is that I created on the stream, but it'd be nice to reach our channel goal. All right, police have gained the first concrete evidence in their investigation of the last Friday's quadruple murder of Holmes Beach. Holmes Beach Police Chief Thomas Shanafelt said Tuesday that latent fingerprints were taken from the station wagon in which Tampa pediatrician Juan Demois, 47, and his two sons, Eric, 13, and Mark, 9, were shot to death by a hitchhiker. Shanafelt refused to comment. Hey, thanks, E.G. Moore. The GHI Fund in honor of Blue, and to help welcome Chloe's new friends. Please help Gray with donations of any amount. Yes. Yeah, it just helps us keep doing what we're doing. I want to be able to give away 4,000 at the end of the month. It's not looking good for that, but that would get us to 50,000 for the year, where I take a large portion of the income that I generate and give it away. So I'm not at liberty to discuss that. So it says, Shanafelt refused to comment on reports that the murderer left a bloody handprint. I'm not at liberty to discuss that, Shanafelt said. The chief added that copies of the fingerprints have been sent to various police agencies throughout the country. The most important thing now is to get a suspect to compare the prints with. However, the police have yet to turn up a suspect, nor have they determined if the murders were committed by a local man. In addition to the victims in the Demois car, the hitchhiker is suspected of killing a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Robert Matsky, 60, of Holmes Beach. I guess that's how he just lived right there, right? Holmes Beach. Okay. Just a second. What's his name again? Robert Matsky. Probably not even saying that right. Matzke. Yeah, he'd be like 100 and... Yeah, that's... How old would he be right now? 60? Yeah, it'd be 104, right? Doesn't have any information in there. Too bad. Almost got... He has nothing. But he's listed and been verified. He just doesn't have anything at all about addresses or... So... Right, Maskey apparently saw the DeMoss car veer off the road and crash. So this is how it went, right? So Maskey apparently saw the DeMoss car veer off the road and crash near his West Bay Cove condominiums. Did we try that earlier? Was that what we tried? West Bay Cove condo. Yeah, those are. I think that's got to be it then. Yeah, see, remember earlier I was thinking these are condos because it's sealed in. So this is where that guy lives. I guarantee it. They just probably changed the name over time. So I guarantee you this is the West Bay Cove condos. Has to be. Because it's just west after they came out of here. Their shots happen and then the car jackknifes and then the guy living here maybe sees it and then follows the guy over to the market here, and then when he gets to the market he confronts the guy and then whatever they said, then he drove away and then the guy shot him in the head so he couldn't say anything either. Now let's do the dog camera because my wife I think is coming home. Let's take a look at it. And we'll just keep going over this. Look at that. Hey. You can tell he is looking at the door. I think they're both really cool looking. But you'll hear the door open in a second, I think. Or we won't hear it, but you'll see the dogs start freaking out. Yeah, so they have this little thing that they can lay on. At some point we'll get rid of the... I don't know how, like maybe in 3 months or something, we'll get rid of that. See, look at Gracie's over by the door, waiting for her to come in. See that? And there's a Christmas tree behind that, sealed in with a gate, so they can't eat all the stuff. Yeah, I think you guys will, this is an interesting story. For sure. There's a pretty good breakdown at some point. I still got another like 10 articles. So whenever we're done, we're done. I'm just waiting for the door to open. You can see Gracie already knows. She can hear and she knows what like a certain sound means at this point. And they'll just start jumping up and down. Nope. Yeah, he looks so good when he's like that, when he's confident looking. Arr! I can barely hear that in here. That's why I made it so I can't hear anything. Oh, look at Chloe spinning around in circles over in the corner by the door. Look at that. That's what she does. It's so crazy. Oh, God. There they go. Oh, God. Look at the excitement. So happy. Look at him. Look at him. Look at Gracie just bing, 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 bing. And Chloe's doing 360s. And that's funny. And it's weird too. See how Benny's standing up like that, but as soon as you go over there, he backs away, and you can't really pick him up. It's weird. See that? How he goes away. Oh, look at, see that? Gets scared. Yeah, he's getting better, but it's weird. See how he's so submissive. See that? Yeah, he's like really timid. But then he's not as soon as you step away. But anyways, all right. All right, well, anyways, there you go. Pretty crazy, huh? Yeah, I was thinking of like giving him bacon or something. So I think that is the, that's where, here, let me get his name. Matsky, let me put that in there. Matsky lived. Okay. You save that. There we go. So Matsky apparently saw the Demois car veer off the road and crash. So somebody got in their car, shot them all, then it crashed. Then Matsky sees this. Matsky's widow has stated that her late husband followed the suspect after the crash. How does she know that? Matsky drove... Oh, wait. Yeah, he must have said, hey, what's that? And then saw the guy and then got in his car and followed him. Matsky drove to the island. So this guy's on foot. Right, now it makes sense. So he's at the condo. He sees this happen. And this guy gets out of the vehicle and starts walking away. And then Matsky sees it, gets in his car, and easily catches up to this guy that's walking there. Matsky's widow has stated, and she would know that because she was probably there at the time. Matsky's widow, hey, thanks, be kind and mindful for 21 months. And what are we at now, you guys? We're $60 short of the goal tonight, where I'll do the flyby. So see if we can get there through the rest of the night. I got another hour. Maybe we make it. Hey, be kind and mindful. Look at that. Got us up to 12 out of 30. Matsky apparently, and then it said, so the wife probably saw him do this. And then Matsky drove to the Island Foodway on Gulf Drive, about 1/4 mile from the site of the original shooting, where he was shot in his car after confronting a man in the store's parking lot. So this guy, this seems like a hit. He had his car parked at the supermarket, and he waited for the boat of, it seems like of Dumas to come back from the, whatever they were doing. Because he didn't steal anything. The fifth shooting victim was a passenger in the Dumas car, Raymond Barros, 58, the late doctor's brother-in-law. And he's still alive, remains in a Tampa hospital under police guard. Police continue to consider various motives for the shooting. We're not leaning in any direction, Shanafelt said. It could have been a hit or just a kook on the loose. Anything's possible. Shanafelt added that the police are checking into the backgrounds of Dumas and Barros, looking for clues to possible motives. I mean, who the hell shoots kids like that? A search of the Dumas car turned up nothing of value. Shanafelt said, there were no drugs, no political literature, nothing, Shanafelt explained in a taped interview with police on Saturday. Barros said he knew of no motive for the shooting. So Raymond's, he's alive and able to talk. Dumas was in practice with 5 other pediatricians in Tampa, was born in Cuba and immigrated to the U.S. in 1960. He reportedly left Cuba because of his disdain for Castro. I wonder if that's a motive. Barros, a bell captain at the Key Biscayne Hotel in Miami, was described by an acquaintances as private, quiet, and hardworking. Police are continuing their search for a suspect described as 35 to 38, clean-shaven with bushy brown hair, 6 feet tall, 160 pounds, and wearing white shorts and a white short-sleeve shirt. And we were still, this is only like these articles are like 5 days later after the murder. Let's see. With no fresh leads or even plausible theory to go on, Holmes Beach police remain baffled by a mysterious shooting spree last Friday afternoon that left 4 people dead and a 5th man critically injured. Nothing concrete has developed at all, said Holmes Beach Police Chief Thomas Shanafelt Monday afternoon. I hate to be vague. All we can do is keep working at it. A doctor, his 2 sons, and another relative who were returning from a fishing trip in Anna Maria Sound Friday afternoon were all shot by a hitchhiker. This sounds like, this isn't going to be a very informative article since they're saying there's nothing new. Now, Dr. Juan Dumas, his 2 young sons were buried Tuesday in Tampa. Some 500 mourners crowded into the Christ the King Catholic Church on Southdale Babry Highway for the triple funeral. Stifled weeping could be heard during the hour-long service. Dumas was a well-known Tampa pediatrician who came to Florida as a Cuban exile in the 1960s. He told them they would have questions about the deaths that will not be explained in this life. Tampa Police Homicide Sergeant Jerry Feltman and 2 plainclothes detectives were at the funeral as preventative medicine. Because because it could have been that the one that survived was the actual target, but he lived. Dumas had his family were vacationing in Holmes Beach in a beach house they had rented. So he's not even, wow. Dumas' brother-in-law, Raymond Barrows, who is the only survivor of the shooting, is reported to be in good condition. Holmes Beach police said his location is still being kept a secret for his own safety. Dumas and his family were vacationing in Holmes Beach in a beach house they had rented. On Friday, Mrs. Dumas and her daughter stayed at the beach house while the rest of the family went fishing. So, wow, how did somebody know that they were, if they were targeted, how would they have known that? The wife would know, right? That he was going there. Maybe somebody at work. About 5 p.m., Dumas, his sons, and Barrows had pulled their boat out of the water and hauled it into a trailer attached to the family station wagon. They had just started driving east on Manatee Avenue when a man pushing a bicycle. So here's the actual story. I don't know if you're still out there, Zozo, but hey, thanks, Allie Cake. All right. They had just started driving east on Manatee Avenue. So taking a look at this, this is where they got their boat, got in there, took their boat, put it on a trailer, and then they were heading this direction. They may have even pulled out right there, and they were just heading down, and guess what? That's probably where the Matsky lived, right around in this area. So they're driving by right here, and that's where the shooting happened. But listen, they had just started driving east on Manatee Avenue when a man pushing a bicycle came limping up to the car and told, and this is because they have the witness, right? They have the witness, the survivor. And that is, what the hell's his name again? Barrows, Raymond Barrows. He's the survivor. And he's the brother-in-law. So that's interesting, too. Like, he's the brother of his wife. They had just started driving east on Manatee Avenue when a man pushing a bicycle came limping up to the car and told Dumas he hurt his ankle and asked for a ride. Although people that knew Dumas said he was vehemently against picking up hitchhikers, the doctor gave the man a ride. Shortly after the man got in the car, he opened fire on his occupants with a small caliber gun, killing the doctor and his 2 sons and wounding Barrows. The car crashed and the killer escaped, but was apparently seen by Matsky, who followed the killer to a nearby shopping center, police said. And the reason he followed him to that shopping center is because the killer had his vehicle waiting for him there. Witness told, he parked it there and he walked, maybe he even rode a bike, I don't know. But maybe he rode a bike, stole a bike, whatever he did to get to the ramp, or he stole a bike at the boat launch area and made it look like he was injured. I don't know. This is weird. Shortly after the man got in the car, he opened fire on his occupants. The car crashed in and the killer escaped, but was apparently seen by Matsky, who followed the killer to a nearby shopping center. Witnesses told police that Matsky talked to the killer and then got back in his car. The killer then shot Matsky in the back of the head and fled the shopping center in a Chrysler, police said. Neither the bicycle nor the car used by the killer had been reported stolen, and neither one has been found. Well, so the bike then... Oh, that's right. So the guy got on his bike and pedaled away, I think. So the bike he had actually worked. That's what he caught up to him, because bike's slower than a car. Tampa police have offered neither assistance to Holmes Beach police, and the Tampa FBI office has also offered help. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Trying for a wave, everybody. We're currently $40 short now. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, we got that. And now we're moving on to this one. Let me just do a double check here really quick. Oh, they've been taken out to hang out with each other. All right, there we go. Witnesses, survivors suspect may bring breakthrough. I think that's it. One eyewitness, one survivor, and one possible suspect could add up to a breakthrough in Friday's Holmes Beach shooting, which left 4 dead and a 5th victim in Tampa's hospital. Local, state, and federal lawmen are expected to ask, or already have asked, the witness, a local woman who apparently saw gunmen shoot and kill Robert Matsky, 60, of West Bay Cove condominiums in the parking lot of the Island Foodway Gulf Drive. Holmes Beach and Raymond Barrows, 52, Gulf Drive, Holmes Beach, and then it says, and Raymond Barrows, 52, the lone survivor of the initial shooting near the Kingfish boat ramp. If they can identify Richard Lee Whitley, 34, a native of Chicago, as the gunman. So there's this guy that they've arrested. Yeah. Police refuse to comment on whether a positive identification has been made. If they have fingerprints, they should be able to do that, right? Whitley, who is being sought nationwide by the FBI for interstate flight, is suspected of murdering a 63-year-old Falls Church in Fairfax County, Virginia, woman on July 25th and stealing her car and credit card. Gasoline purchases made with the stolen credit card July 29th placed the murderer in the Tampa area. The murdered woman's car, a light green 1978 Volkswagen Rabbit hatchback, was found abandoned by Okeechobee police at 1 a.m. August 1st, the date of the murders. According to an Okeechobee policeman, a car with a Virginia license plate was abandoned Friday near the Okeechobee courthouse. A broken key was found in the driver's door lock, the policeman said. Well, yeah, it sort of sound, I can see why they're interested in that. I don't know if I'm going to read this whole thing, but the police, he said, ran a check on the car and discovered it was owned by the murdered Virginia woman. They also discovered that the FBI had issued a federal warrant for Whitley on July 31st. Whitley's description: a 34-year-old white male, 6'2", 165 pounds, slender build, brown hair and blue eyes, according to the FBI, is similar to the description of the Holmes Beach murder suspect, which Barrows gave to police. Barrows' description subsequently, Barrows should be able to look at the guy and go, yeah, that's him, that's or not him. Retired Air Force, so it's going through the shooting again. Retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Robert Maskey, 58, of Holmes Beach, was shot and killed in the parking lot minutes after the 4 series of shootings. While those comparisons are incomplete, preliminary tests failed to yield a match. Right. If Whitley is the prime suspect, then police say they must be able to prove he was in the Bradenton area last Friday. According to authorities, several persons reportedly saw a man late that day who matched Whitley's description. In addition, a police spokesman said the man was seen riding a 10-speed bicycle similar to the one used by the Holmes Beach murderer to make his escape. That's weird. Another riddle awaiting a solution is that the car the murderer reportedly had been waiting in the Island Foodway parking lot. Yeah, so he had a car waiting for him to get in. It has been described by Foodway shoppers variously as a Chrysler Cordoba or Ford product, with either a light tan body with a dark top or a rust-colored body with a tan vinyl top. This getaway car reportedly had a Florida license plate. There have been no local reports of similar stolen vehicles or bicycles, the police said. Police have yet to determine a motive for the slayings. While Dumois and his brother-in-law, Barros, are both Cuban immigrants, sources said neither was involved in Cuban politics. Okay. So that's not related. A possible motive is that Dumois offered a ride to a jittery criminal who shot the station wagon occupants after becoming suspicious of their Spanish conversations. I don't know. That sounds ridiculous. It sounds more like he was waiting for them at the boat ramp and his vehicle was at the grocery store, waiting for him to get back to his vehicle. According to versions of the story pieced together from police reports and their interviews with Barros, Dumois, his sons, and Barrow were returning to their Holmes Beach vacation house. Oh, there you go. So now we know where the vacation house is. 112 78th Street. So that would mean you take a right. I bet it's off to the left over here when we hit the search button. Yep, see, there you go. And right there, that's their vacation home. Do we ever get to 200 people tonight? I didn't think we were going to. No, we got to 204. What a miracle. A whole 9 months for what? I don't know what that means. Oh, you've been a lot longer than that. So that's the vacation home he was at. All right, you guys, we're still short. We are at 80%, so if you guys can help support the channel. I know you guys are, kicking some ass here, but just trying to set the goals to keep on trucking through the month. So there it is. That was the vacation home. And so basically they were just right here in their boat, and then they were going to tow the boat back to their vacation home right over there. But they never made it. So this looks like it's going to be a good description here. Hey, thanks, LM, as in Element Open. Remember that when you had the... Dumois, his sons, and Barrows were returning to their homes, to their Holmes Beach vacation house, 112 78th Street, after a day of fishing. Staying at the house were the wives of Dumois and Barrows, and Dumois' other 2 children. After loading their boat at the Kingfish boat ramp, Dumois was approached by a man with a bicycle. The man told Dumois that he had hurt his ankle. This is like Ted Bundy stuff right here. He hurt his ankle and needed a ride. What year is this? 1980. Was Bundy in Florida in 1980? I mean, that's crazy. I think he was already arrested by now. The man told Dumois that he had hurt his ankle and needed a ride. The doctor agreed to give him a lift to where is uncertain. It might have just even been to the grocery store or something. Police theorized the murderer wanted to go either to where he had a car parked, perhaps the island foodway, or to another area where he could steal a car. After the man loaded his bicycle into the boat, so he actually put his bike into the boat, you guys, he climbed into the station wagon's back seat where Demois' two sons were seated. Demois then headed west on Manatee Avenue. Demois and Barrows became suspicious of their passenger. The man with the injured ankle never limped. They began discussing their suspicions in Spanish. Oh, okay, well that's sort of an interesting... So Barrows is alive and he's able to say, hey, they're suspicious, so they started talking in Spanish. Shortly thereafter, the man opened fire and the Demois car went out of control, crashing in front of West Bay Cove Moskey's residence. While police believe the same man is responsible for the murder at the Island Foodway, the only person who could have testified that he saw the man travel from the initial shootings to the grocery store is Matsky. He apparently followed the man to the store, probably unaware that the occupants of the Demois car had been shot. According to local women who witnessed the Island Foodway shooting, Matsky confronted the man, had an angry conversation with him, and was shot in the head after he turned around, got into his car, and attempted to drive away. The gunman reportedly watched the Matsky car crash into the parked car of a shopper, got into the full-size rust-colored car, and headed east on Manatee Avenue. That's Manatee. So that means he went this way and then took off. Yeah, so the way this worked was like this. So here's they got their boat, and I think they drove out like this, picked up the hitchhiker, and then were shot, and then they crashed right over, like somewhere in that area is what I'm guessing. Then Matsky, sees the guy on the bike, and he follows him over here like this into the parking lot. And then he's shot. Then the killer from the parking lot, after he shot him, drove up like this and went that way somewhere. Obviously kept going like that. And then that takes you into, not sure what cities those are over there. Yeah, the doctor, he lived right there. So that's sort of interesting. And he lived right in this area. Maybe it's some guy that liked the husband. Don't know. All right, 35 more to go to reach the goal. Then I'll donate 5 memberships as well and do the flyby. All right, you guys? That's where we're at. According to the local woman who witnessed the Island Foodway shooting, Matsky confronted the man, had an angry conversation with him, and was shot in the head. The gunman reportedly watched Matsky, so that's weird how he just sat there and watched. Yeah, I always thank Allie Cake all the time. What are you talking about? Yeah. Moofies, hi everyone. Nearly blind in both eyes until I can get surgery so I can really read the chat. Thankful Gray talks so I can keep up without having to see everything. Wow, so you'd be awesome. So even if I left a super chat up on the screen and kept reading, you'd be okay. I know, Drizport, but it doesn't happen that way. Nobody does that. should be very simple to do. But during the course of their questioning of the local woman, the police are expected to take her to a local auto dealer and attempt to get an exact car model. Meanwhile, the search for clues continues. Oh yeah, so it says the government reportedly watched Maskey's car crash into the parked car of the shopper, got into the full-size rust-colored car, and headed east on Manatee Avenue. During the course of their questioning of the local woman, the police are expected to get her to go to a dealership and pick out the car. Meanwhile, the search for clues continues. Drivers from the Manatee County Sheriff's Department probe Palmasola Bay waters looking for the weapon believed to be a .22 caliber handgun. The underwater and air searches were expected to resume today. Underwater and air searches for what? Man, what a waste of time that is. That's crazy. Yeah, so this is that guy, Richard Whitley. You know, Richard Lee Whitley, a prime suspect in the last week's slaying of 4 people in Holmes Beach, was taken into custody with a woman at 11:50 a.m. today. Police say Whitley, 34, surrendered to officers at an apartment at 1101 De Leon Street in Hyde Park without struggle and was being questioned by detectives and FBI agents about last week's slaying of Dr. Juan Dumois, a 47-year-old Tampa pediatrician, his 2 sons, Eric, 13, and Mark, 9, and Robert Maskey, a retired Air Force colonel. Police still have no motive for the Holmes Beach slayings. Whitley was arrested on a Virginia murder warrant. No charges were filed immediately against him, but police say Whitley is already wanted for the slaying of 63-year-old woman in Virginia. Police also picked up for questioning a 35 to 45-year-old woman who was in the apartment with Whitley at the time of his arrest. Let's see. Police said Raymond Burroughs, the lone survivor of the attacks in the tiny Gulffront community, saw pictures of Whitley and said he has similar features to the hitchhiking gunman. Burroughs remained hospitalized in Tampa in good condition with a bullet still lodged in his skull. Jeez. He actually got shot in the head and the bullet's still sitting in there. Police showed him 6 pictures, including one of Whitley at his hospital bed. Mr. Burrow looked at the photo pack that the FBI had and said words to the effect, this individual, Whitley, had features that are similar to the subject who shot myself and the other. Hillsborough Sheriff Sergeant Joe Martelli said Thursday officials in Fairfax County have charged Whitley with murder of 63-year-old Phoebe C. Parson. It was last Friday that Burroughs and Dumois family were vacationing in Holmes. Yeah, we already know the whole thing there. Yeah, this is kind of like that was a sketch right there. That was a sketch that was given out. I don't think that looks like that guy. Sketch of killer is left. Whitley. That's Whitley right there. Alright, you guys, I'll try one last time, everybody. So if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, I would really appreciate it. Trying to reach the goals on a nightly basis. Should be pretty easy to do. This lady looks a little bit like my mom, the way she looked back in the day. Except my mom was prettier than that. These are the hurricane. Let's see. That's nothing to do with it. It's just right here. These are the victims here. These 2 kids. That's the father, Eric Dumois, above right, and had talked about a medical career by the time he was 13. 9-year-old Mark, above left, learned to read before he was 5. Dr. Juan Dumois kept in good with the kids at his pediatrics office by letting the nurses give the shots. He is survived by his wife, Marie. I mean, I still got a lot to read here, so I'd like to get the support for the channel up to reach the goal, you guys. You know, Juan de Mois III turned man of the house at age 19. His father, so that Juan de Mois here, this is 1980, August 9th. I think he's a doctor now. I think he followed in the footsteps. His father and brother murdered a week ago. Juan draws strength from the memory of his dad. He'll return to Loyola University in New Orleans for his second year as pre-med. There you go, student. Leaving his mother and 16-year-old sister Anna Maria in Tampa. I'm sure Dad would want me to go back. In an interview at the Des Moines Bayfront home Friday, Juan breezed through family stories with composure, laughter, and only an occasional battle with tears. I mean, he doesn't have anybody left. That's crazy. I mean, maybe, I think he had one sibling and a sister and a mom, but lost his two brothers and a top suspect confesses to Virginia killing. So he confessed to those killings, but I think they just sort of dropped him. You know, he didn't match anything. This guy, Whitley. They do not expect Whitley, a 34-year-old Chicago native, to admit to the local murders which claimed the lives of Holmes Beach residents. Yeah, so they don't think he's going to confess to that because he didn't do it. All right, you guys, what I need to do tonight? I had to do a little weird jig, some kind of dance. Somebody has to throw me in prison. Is that going to work? Or you guys tell me. Police remain puzzled by Holmes Beach slayings. 2 months after 2 adults and 2 children were wantonly shot and killed in Holmes Beach and Anna Maria Island, the gunman remains at large. Holmes Beach Police Chief, this is October now. Let's see, it was about 5 p.m. Friday, August 1st, when Dr. Juan DeMa, 47 of Tampa, and his brother-in-law, Raymond Barrows, 53 of Miami, pulled their fishing boat out of the water at Kingfish Ramp on Manatee Avenue, just east of Holmes Beach. With them were the doctor's 2 sons, Eric, 13, and Mark, 9. They had been fishing, and the catch was in the boat. According to Barrows, a man pushing a bicycle, I think there's even a picture. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't thrown in prison, Sandy. So, according to Barrows, a man pushing a bicycle came along and asked for a lift to the nearby Foodway Market. He said he had hurt his ankle. His bicycle was placed in the boat, already on its trailer, and the unidentified man climbed into the DeMoss sedan in the back seat with the 2 boys. Barrows was in the front with DeMoss. The car was scarcely underway, headed west towards the beach on Anna Maria Island, when the hitchhiker opened fire with a .22 caliber handgun, hitting DeMoss and the 2 children in the head and Barrows in the neck. Well, he got hit in the head too. The doctor and son didn't die. Hey, thanks, Paulette, for the coffee. Man, it's almost like it's a disease to hit the super chat button tonight. Like, people are scared to in the last 40 minutes. It's been crazy. The car swerved out of control, jackknifed around the pole in front of West Bay Cove condominiums on the north side of Manatee Avenue. At this point, Lieutenant Colonel Robert Matsky, 58, was on the front lawn of the condominiums, apparently working with the sprinkler system. There you go, see? He was director of the bus fleet and maintenance of the Manatee County school system, but liked to help out at the apartments. So there he was. He was Maskey saw someone that led him to jump into his Fiat and convertible and follow the hitchhiker to the busy Foodway parking lot where Maskey was seen talking to him. Maskey got back in his car and started to pull away when the killer acted again, shooting Maskey in the head and killing him. Yeah. Hold on. It says hundreds of fingerprints have been lifted from the Demois and Maskey cars. See, Maskey saw something, and then, yeah, so while several persons around the store reported seeing Maskey and the killer, none saw a bicycle. We haven't found the bike, and we haven't searched the whole area inch by inch, he said. That is kind of weird. So when Maskey followed the hitchhiker, was he on the bike that was in the back of the boat? Because that bike should have still been sitting in the back of the boat if he just took off on foot. Yeah, so we got all the way to 2010. Oh, look at that. Yep, see, look at that. That's exactly where I was guessing. There's a boat ramp, and then where do I have it compared to that? So look at this. They have it where the crash is, oh, God, I was off. Look where it actually is, right there. That was pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. Yeah, basically it's all just like it, how it read. Hey, thanks, Moofies. Man. We are now 30 short of the goal on YouTube. And look, there it is right there. There it is. There's a picture of the car jackknifed around the tree. And actually, I have some really clear pictures here. Look at this. So that must be the survivor. He's sitting up. And that's probably the one that died there. Although, it looks like the bullet hole's in the underneath the neck or something. I don't know. And that's the front seat of the vehicle. There's one of the guys. That's probably the dad, the doctor, maybe. And then this is the Maskey's car after he got shot. He was in this like Fiat here or whatever, and smashed into there, and he was shot in the front seat of that vehicle. And then that must be Maskey then right there. And that's the car that he chased down the killer in right there. Hello, is anybody there? God, you guys, it's almost so boring when you guys aren't, for me, when you're not typing in and sort of following along. And here's the boat that the bike was apparently in, and there's the vehicle. Let's see if we can see that same exact tree line, because that stuff never changes. So let's see if we went down to right here. Yeah, I was thinking it was more like back in there, but yeah, it's hard to tell. Definitely, it's on that grass. I bet it's right there, actually, right in here. You see how much grass is back there? And there's some steps. See that? There was some stairs that went up. I bet those are old. That's got to still be there. I know you guys are watching, but like you got to comment, you know. You know when we're doing those really popular cases, you guys all have something to say throughout the entire show. That's why I'm always leery to do these ones, because that's sort of the indication of interest level. Yeah, I don't know. God, you can see these steps right back there. See that? Maybe there's some steps that you could walk into the apartments back in the day. Here, let's try one thing up here. Google Maps. And then they're saying it's right there. And then maybe we can go back to 2007. That's as far as we can go back, but you know, maybe there's no. Could be right there in that little opening there, right next to that sign, I guess. Wait, is that it right there? Ah, I thought I could see it for a second. Where was that? I saw something that looked like steps. Yeah, I don't see it. Well, anyways, it's right there, they say. Yeah, anyways, I was going to bring this one up and I'll go over that one article. But look at it, I think this is him, Dr. Juan Demois here. He used, he's COVID-19, it's like, what did it say? Most children who have tested positive, and he's a kid's doctor, just like his dad, for viruses have mild cases, said Dr. Juan Demois, a pediatric infectious disease physician. See, doesn't that just have to be him at that point? I mean, he has the same name as his kid, who was 19 at the time in medical school, and he's also a children's doctor, just like his dad. I mean, it's got to be him. Oh yeah, so this had all those pictures in it that I was showing you. They do have stuff collected. Maybe they have DNA somewhere. All right, I'm gonna do this article here, this long one, and it continues on. I think the next page. Let's see how much that is. Yeah, so it's two huge articles in a row. That looks like where it crashed right there. Oh, someone took a photograph of the killer was exiting the station wagon just moments after the shooting. Huh, where is he? Guess we'll have to read about that. All right, you guys, 30 more to go. We reached the goal. Can we do it? I guess I have to go to A1 too. It starts on page 1. Jeez, all the way over here. Holmes Beach Horror. That's weird how it just fell off a cliff, Plato. I've tried to get it. But Holmes Beach Horror. Maria Dumois still remembers kissing her husband goodbye 30 years ago. He kissed me in the morning. This is from 2010. He kissed me in the morning. The boys did too. We kissed whenever we were going somewhere, recalls Dumois, now 73, sitting in her living room in St. Petersburg. Hours later, Dumois' husband and their 2 youngest children were dying at Blake Medical Center. All 3 had been shot in the head. They were gunned down inside their own car along the causeway in one of Manatee County's most notorious cold cases. A witness who chased after their killer was shot and killed. A man driving by with a new camera saw someone emerge from the station wagon, and he snapped the killer walking away from the scene frame for frame. The settings on the camera were wrong. No one, despite the blurred images of the killer, more than 100 suspects questioned, rumors of links to mafia investigated, has ever been arrested in the murders. The weapon, a .22 caliber handgun, was never found. That's kind of weak gun too. Now, for the first time, investigators have opened most of the murder file in hopes that the information will lead to some new clue. It might be their last chance. Any hope of solving the case becomes less and less likely with each passing year, says Holmes Beach Police Chief J. Romine. He first took the case in 1988 as a Holmes Beach detective. Every time we do a story on this, I say, somebody out there knows what happened. Somebody knows who did it and why they did it. But with every 5 years that rolls around with this thing, that statement has less and less truth to it, Romine said. People are dying, 30 years have gone by, and eventually anybody who had anything to do with it or any knowledge of it will be gone. Oh, come on, Maury. Jeez. Meeting their killer. Maria Dumois and her family were renting a beach house on Anna Maria Island. She and Dr. Juan Dumois with their 4 children, and they planned to stay 2 weeks. Her 46-year-old husband, a pediatrician, was on vacation from his private practice in Tampa. On August 1st, 1980, Dr. Dumois took their 2 youngest, 13-year-old Eric and 9-year-old Mark, fishing with his brother-in-law, Raymond Barrows. So here's the thing, everybody. It's like, I'm trying to reach the goal tonight so that it validates covering cold cases even when we don't have 1,000 people or 600 people watching, okay? And so every time we do the experiment, it seems to do the same thing. It starts off pretty good, and then it just sort of fades off into oblivion. So let's try to reach the goal, okay? It's like you guys are always telling me something. Gray, don't cover the cold cases, man, even though they're really interesting. It just, I don't, and the conversation is less, people aren't talking. So I don't know if you're trying to send me a message or what's going on, but that's what it feels like. Meeting their killer, Maria Dumois and her family were renting a beach house on Anna Maria Island. She and Dr. Juan Dumois with their 4 children, and they planned to stay 2 weeks. Her 46-year-old husband, pediatrician, was on vacation from his private practice in Tampa. On August 1st, 1980, Dr. Dumois took their youngest, 13-year-old Eric and 9-year-old Mark, fishing with his brother-in-law, Raymond Barrows. Just the day before, the boys were photographed clutching their fishing poles, tanned and smiling. They launched their boat from the Kingfish boat ramp at 9 a.m. and made a day of it, returning just before 5 p.m. triumphant with a couple dozen fish spread before them. Now, they actually have a picture. They all climbed back into the family station wagon, a 1977 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, pulling the boat behind them. They started to head back to the beach house. Where is that? Oh yeah, and then their killer emerged behind the trees at the boat landing. He was pushing his 10-speed bicycle. Now, it's just how Bundy would do stuff. And he had a lame ankle. He appeared to be in his early 30s, about 6 feet tall, with a lean, muscular build. His wavy, thick brown hair was pulled straight back. His bushy eyebrows, oh, there we go again, you guys. His bushy eyebrows turned up slightly at the end above large, piercing blue eyes. Deep lines creased his forehead, and a cleft marked his chin. He brought the bicycle up to the station wagon as they stopped. So I hear him say something. I couldn't quite make it out what he wanted. So I told Juan, this guy must want something. You want to see what he wants? Juan says, sure. So he stopped. Oh man, isn't that amazing? Just something so simple. So he stopped, Barrows said, sitting in a hospital bed at St. Joseph's Hospital in Tampa, talking to detectives 4 days after the shooting. Oh, and by the way, I do have this pretty interesting. I forgot to bring that up. But in 1982, Barrows died. So just 2 years later, he died right here. Hey, come on, Sandy Shirley. You don't have to do that. But I appreciate it. But I'm looking for the other people to try to help out sometimes, On Friday, May 7th, 1982, at approximately 9:35 hours, Special Agent... Well, basically, I'll just summarize this. So he died, Barrows did, and so the wife called the investigators and told them it would be okay for them to remove the bullet that was still in his head. Isn't that crazy? And thanks, Sandy Shirley. So they actually removed the bullet, so they have that on hand now. That's pretty crazy. That's in this PDF file, though. Let's see. So he stopped. Barrows said, sitting in a hospital bed at St. Joseph's Hospital in Tampa, talked to the detectives 4 days after the shooting. Barrows was the only survivor. I need help. I'm hurt, and I need to get to those condominiums over there. Barrows recalled, oh wow, the same condominiums that it's crazy. So the same condominiums that Matsky lived at. What are the odds of that? Barrows was the only survivor. I need help. I'm hurt, and I need to get to those condominiums over there. Barrows recalled the killer saying in a New England accent. Interesting. He pointed towards Holmes Beach. Whereabouts? What is the address? The doctor asked. Don't you know the address? No, I don't know. This is way more detail. No, I don't know. Just around the corner, the killer replied. The reason I'm asking is because I have a bad ankle, which I hurt riding this bicycle. The doctor helped the killer lift the bicycle into the boat. Jesus. You think it's going to hurt something inside the boat? The killer asked the doctor. No, it's not going to hurt anything. It's fine. Not anything it can hurt, the doctor replied before getting back into the driver's seat. Barrows helped the hitchhiker climb into the back seat on the passenger side. Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, they must have had so much more detail than you get in those articles. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to give 5 memberships for the effort. But man, we were doing so well and it just collapsed. Man, it's rare to have one of those really big nights anymore. So anyways, we gave one to Ann, Kath, Dub, T, Renee, S, Denise Miller, Lisa Lulu, and Kenya Connor. There you go. This should be on this IDTV or something. Yeah, it's not going to hurt anything. It's fine. Not anything it can hurt, the doctor replied before getting back into the driver's seat. Burroughs helped the hitchhiker climb into the back seat of the passenger side. I said to myself, oh, he's hurt. Let me be a gentleman and open the door for him. He got a bad ankle, Burroughs told investigators in recorded interviews. I've actually heard those somewhere. I can't remember where I heard some of that. So I opened the door for him. He got in, and he closed the door. The boys scooted over to make room for the stranger. Burroughs got back in the front passenger seat next to the doctor. The killer said nothing more. The moments that followed unfolded in silence until shots began to ring out, Burroughs told investigators. See, that sounds like a hit. The first shot, we don't hear the part where they started speaking in Spanish because they felt, that should have been in this one. The first shot most likely struck Burroughs. So when the car started pulling to the highway, I heard this bang. I said, wow, I think to myself, somebody must have hit us from behind. A car or truck hit the boat, smashing into the car, Burroughs told investigators. I slumped into the seat. I felt something. I can't describe it. I guess it must have been the impact of the bullet. So I slumped, and I tried to get up, and I couldn't. I tried to move around, and I couldn't do nothing. Sort of semi-conscious and just lying there. The killer shot again. Eric was shot in the head. Mark was shot in the head. Their blood covered the back seat. In horror, their father turned around in his seat and tried in vain to go after the killer. The doctor was probably shot last. I looked in and the driver was turned around with his back. I looked in and the driver was turned around with his back towards the window shield, and he was fighting, said a witness who had been driving east on Manatee Avenue with his wife and son. To me, it looked like a couple of guys giving it a little fist fight, fighting like that. They swerved back over and they come right aside of my car, just like you're supposed to, but we're still fighting. By then I was watching and I heard 2 bangs, and it was muffled because the car was close up. My wife says, that's backfire, and I say, no, it's that's somebody shooting. They're shooting in the damn car. It happened real fast. The doctor was shot twice in the head and his face as he faced the killer. Jeez. So that means he's shot in the front of his face. Burroughs continued to drift in and out of consciousness. Then, only seconds afterwards, I hear my brother-in-law. He's yelling. The brother, he's also the brother-in-law. So I couldn't turn. I just couldn't even. I wanted to. I couldn't turn. Just semi-conscious. So I look out the corner of my eye and I can see his back is red. It looks like blood. Right away I think of bullets or a car accident. I say, what is this? And that's it. I must have blacked out. Witnesses said it appeared the killer reached to grab the wheel and steered the station wagon off the road, coming to a stop in a grassy area just west of the boat ramp. Dr. Demois died shortly after the shooting. The boys died hours later. Now, let me look one more time at my little... What year is that? A grassy area. Yeah, we saw that. Because I was thinking originally it was like way over here. Don't see it. Hey, look at that. It's Jessica Schubach. We did it. You didn't have to do that, though. Hey, thank you. I just try to make it happen every night. Do the shows, and the freaks support the channel. I wish we could get 350 people watching, or 400 when we're doing cold cases. But, man, if you don't have Luigi Mangione in the title, forget it, man. But isn't this one here is more interesting than a lot of these other cases? I mean, this is crazy, right? Let's see. Barrows survived a bullet lodged in his neck. He died 2 years later from a heart attack. His widow, Dora, Juan Demas' sister, passed away this spring. But also, they got the bullet. I just was showing you that document. The killer wasn't done. He got out of Demas' station wagon right as it came to a stop. He lifted the bike out of the boat and began to pedal to the parking lot of a foodway near the intersection of Gulf Drive and Manatee Avenue. That caught the attention of U.S. Air Force retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert Matsky, who was in his West Bay Cove condominium. He told his wife, Mary, to call police. Mary to call police to report a car crash. According to police log, Mary Matsky reported the crash at 4:58. Oh, right. That's what I was thinking. So he saw the crash, and then his wife called it in. But then Matsky, 60, jumped into his 1978 Fiat convertible and followed the killer, apparently not knowing there had been a shooting. He confronted the killer in the parking lot and then started to drive away. He didn't get very far. The killer fired another round. So this guy must be a pretty good shot, just a quick, the 22 caliber handgun towards the small car. I saw two men in an argument. One woman told police. As the small car pulled away, the young man shot him. I thought he had missed him and that the older man had just ducked out of the way. That's what I thought with Trump when that shot. I was actually on my treadmill watching the live rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and I was watching it. I was on my treadmill. I was just watching, and I heard that little cracking sound. I knew right away that was gunshots. And then I saw him duck down, and I thought, oh my God. I thought he got hit. I really did. It was crazy. But turned out he didn't. I mean, he got nicked. He got, bullet grazed his ear, and that's a freaking miracle. Let's see. Yeah. He didn't get very far. The killer fired another round from the 22 caliber handgun towards the smaller car. I saw two men in an argument. One woman told police, as the small car pulled away, the young man shot him. I thought he had missed him and that the older man had just ducked out of the way. The young man jumped into a car and left, going towards Manatee Avenue, towards town. The young man jumped into a car and left, going towards Manatee Avenue. Matsky had been shot in the back of the head. His car drifted into another parked vehicle in the parking lot. A woman called police from Foodway reporting the crash at 5:02 p.m. See how close it is. His wife at 4:58 called and said, hey, there's been an accident. The killer loaded his bike into the trunk of a Ford LTD with a tan body. See, that's what I'm saying, man. This sounds like a hit to me, you guys. The men vanished. Oh, wait, no, there's a driver, they say. Into the trunk of a Ford LTD with a tan body, dark top, and Florida license plate, and a unidentified driver. Holy shit. So there's a guy waiting. The men vanished. The brash retired lieutenant colonel would have chased the killer all over again, says son Scott Matsky of Ellington. Scott is now 60, the same the same age as father was when he was killed. He was just the kind of person who would do something like that, Scott Maskey told the Herald. He saw something happen, and then he saw something strange happen as a result. Robert Maskey, he saw somebody get out of the car and bike away from the accident. Robert Maskey, whoever saw maintenance and transportation for the Manatee, he oversaw transportation and maintenance for the Manatee County School District, later had a maintenance facility named in his honor. Some of the buildings have been reconstructed, and the district plans to rededicate them in his honor. His widow, Mary, turned 89 this spring. And is in poor health with heart problems. At first, what's his wife's name? There, maybe let me try that person. Hold on. www. Search by name. Mary Matsky. I think that's... How old would she be right now? She'd be 99 plus 104, right? 103. I think this is it. I think I just found her. He was a pediatrician. She got a ton of addresses. God, this might be it, right? Jeez. Here we go. This one's from 85. This might be it. Hold on. I think this is it, you guys. I go back up in the air. I think I got the address here. There we go. If not, there might be another one in there. Ah, God, it's right there, huh? So it's on the other side? Well, there's this one too, but that's not the side. Or was it on this side? Jesus, I didn't even think about that. Hold on a second. Well, they're on the left side, but you'd have to cross the other side to do that. That's a grassy area right there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's that address. Let me see if there's another one though. Because they have that as the area right here, and that is close to the market. So I'm going to put this in there. Matsky. And wow, they got this one. Let's try this one. There's a couple in here. It could be good. I think they might have just kept living in the same area. I'm just trying to get more exact information. Okay, here's another one. That's a little bit further over there, so that doesn't work. It's over there too. Yeah, so that's the one. That must be it. That's got to be it. Holmes Beach, Florida. It says 85. That's the only one in Holmes Beach as well. A lot of different addresses, but that's the one. That's got to be it. I thought it was these ones over here, though. So I'm going to just have to... So that kind of makes sense. Like he'd be out mowing. Maybe he's doing something out here and he sees it across the street. Yeah, maybe he's right there and gets back into his condo over here. Pretty crazy, though, huh? Jeez. That was cool. I like getting more precise information like that. At first, police officers thought they were responding to minor unrelated traffic crashes. Within minutes, however, they found 3 men and 2 boys with gunshot wounds and basically all in the head, really. And an island volunteer squad of paramedics, onlookers, and reporters rushed in, inadvertently contaminating murder scenes that had not been secured. What you had was bedlam. You had a mass confusion, Ryan said. You've got the incident called in. Officers respond to the scene at several minutes before you realize the gravity of the situation. At the same time, now you're getting a call of another accident at Foodway, he said, and then boom, you've got a shooting involved there too. Can you imagine what bedlam that was? It was just unfortunately everything working in that guy's favor that day. Witnesses who initially called Holmes Beach Police Department reported a car crash, not realizing a shooting had taken place. Theodore Staley of Bradenton Beach, the witness who had seen the shooting while driving by with his wife and son, made it across the bridge and then turned around. By the time he got there, the first officer was already on the scene. So that guy thought so much of it, he turned around and came back. The police officer had pulled one of the boys out of the car, and then I went up there. My wife went first, he said in the interview with police. Then she came back, and then when I went up there, I had, everything was, they were all pulling them out and all that, I guess is what he's saying. They were pulling them all out and all that. This is quotes. A semi-conscious Burroughs was pulled out. Then the next thing I knew, they were pulling me out onto the ground, put me on a stretcher. Then I saw a lot of people, people talking, and policemen, paramedics, passerby, a lot of people, and they are helping Juan, pulling him on a stretcher, Burroughs recalled in an interview with investigators. Then I saw Eric, the oldest boy, also on a stretcher, and I think I could see the foot of Mark and the little one. I thought, God, why are they waiting so long to move us? Why don't they move us? I could see that much. Just what was in front of me, and then they moved me. Then I don't remember the ride to the hospital in the ambulance. I must have passed out again. Responders and onlookers left fingerprints everywhere for detectives to eliminate as a suspect. No match was ever found for approximately 77 of those fingerprints. You basically have all the volunteer island rescue squad, right, they were opening the doors. You have to do it, though. I mean, there's people in the car. So between them, between the witnesses, the bystanders, everybody's doing what they feel they can do. They're trying to help. They want to get in there and help whoever's in the car, not knowing at all that that it's a crime scene and they're contaminating it. You've got dozens of people, hands on everything. The first thing you do, other than save lives, if you can, is protect the scene, the police chief said. It wasn't until all the damage was done. That's not necessarily anybody's fault. It's just a situation that happened because of circumstances. The family station wagon and boat had ended up near a sprinkler system. The vehicle became covered in water and mud, making it difficult to lift prints. Investigators took down tag numbers of every... This is crazy, right? This is going to be a long one. Every vehicle parked there and tried to ensure everyone's names were recorded. Detectives followed up on witnesses asking for every detail. One woman who saw Matsky shooting found an attorney and refused to speak out of fear. Some probably never came forward. Man, if one of those people had done just a little bit more, Romine said. But then, on the other hand, you think if they had, you would have had more victims. The bicycle and the getaway car were never found. Manatee County Sheriff's divers, that's why they were looking for the bike, futilely searched the water for the handgun. Oh, okay. You sit here 30 years later and it remains unsolved. That's why I was thinking it's ridiculous when... Oh yeah, so yeah, I guess is that the guy's head right there maybe? And that's like the legs. But where's the bike? You know? I don't see the bike at this point. The bicycle and the getaway car were never found. You sit there for 30 years later and it remains unsolved. Letters and flyers littered every nearby beach, cottage, and hotel several years in hopes of locating someone who would have the needed piece of information. Detectives looked at every homicide suspect they came across as a possible suspect for years. One suspect actually confessed to another homicide, Richard Lee Whitley, who was 34 at the time and had alibi in his Des Moines shooting, but detectives grilled him. He confessed to killing a 63-year-old woman in Fairfax County, Virginia. Authorities searched homeless shelter and soup kitchens. They checked for rental cars matching the Ford description and checked hotels for the killer. We tried every possible angle to turn up a witness, said Bruce Benjamin, a detective on the case who is now retired from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. He had to cover everything. Benjamin arrived on the scene after the victims had been taken to the hospital. He tried to get a description from witnesses of the killer. He wasn't in the car very long, Benjamin said. Manatee County Sheriff's Office detective, Florida Department of Law Enforcement agents, and FBI agents tried to crack the case. Less than 2 months after the killings, Holmes Beach Police Chief Tom Shanafelt wrote a psychic for help. Oh boy. You're like a little bunny. We are not making a great deal of progress at the present time. We have not discovered a motive in spite of our intensive background investigation of the victims, he wrote. We do not have a great deal of physical evidence, and we have no suspect. Frankly, we are rapidly approaching a dead end. In several readings in the evidence file, a psychic described the killer as psychotic, playing many different roles and possibly being a transvestite. What? A man named Moses was supposedly to lead detectives to the killer. She lists different names, citing possible significance. She said he kills for pleasure and money. Hey, look at that. Judy Grandstrand just gifted 5 membership. And think about it like this, you guys. When you're watching this channel, would you ever have heard of this case in your life? I mean, this one actually should be one that's popular. Maybe it is out there. You know, I didn't look on YouTube or anything like that. So maybe it is popular, but I had never heard of it. I can tell you that. So you got to look at it like that. And look at that. We welcome to Paisley, Donna Aldridge, Cheryl Morin, Kimberly Joy, and Dilly Pickles. Get it? Dilly Pickles. Schenefeld is in poor health now, Romain said, and other investigators from the scene have died. It's just unfortunate. You hate to call anything the perfect crime, but really, so far, that's what this has become, and it's going to remain that way unless it gets solved, Romain said, never to be seen 30 years later. It's just bizarre to me. I don't think it could have fallen into place any better than it did for him. Ties to Castro's mafia. Investigators pored over the background of Juan Demois and Raymond Barros. Demois, the first pediatrician at Tampa General, was from Cuba. His family had political ties. His cousin was the Minister of Agriculture for Cuba. In the late 1950s, Demois was a medical student at the University of Havana. See, I wonder if they're paying him back for leaving them. In 1958, he was part of an anti-Fulgencio Batista movement that made an attempt on the president's life at the palace. Oh, jeez. Barros told investigators. Demois later abandoned the group, according to his brother-in-law. The University of Havana was shut down because of political unrest. Demois was allowed to leave Cuba for Miami, where he took courses at the University of Miami and met Maria. They dated, married, and returned to Cuba. Fidel Castro was coming to power. Demois initially supported him before turning against him a few months later, Barros told investigators. Maria was 7 months pregnant with their first child. They decided they had to flee to America. Yeah, see, that actually feels like that could be related. We saw how things were getting over there with Castro. Maria recalled in an interview with the Herald. It was leaning toward communism. He decided we really couldn't stay. We started trying to see how we may get out. They weren't letting out any Cuban professionals. It was easy for me because I was an American citizen. Her family had settled in the United States in 1947. Demois had a harder time leaving Cuba, but managed to escape in 1960. They were looking for him, always looking for him, but he was gone, never to be returned, Barros said. The killings in 1980 took place in the midst of the Mariel boat lift, in which a mass exodus of Cubans came to America from the Cuban Mariel harbor. Investigators received information from the U.S. Coast Guard that Demois helped pay for a boat to bring Cubans to America, a boat that apparently was never functional. None of Demois' ties, Cubans, were ever connected to the shootings. Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to connect if they just sent somebody over. Barros, whose mother was Cuban, worked at this is Barros, he's the other one, whose mother was Cuban, worked at a Key Biscayne hotel in Miami as a bell captain during an era when cocaine cowboys were using hotels at their base for illicit drug sales. Investigators questioned whether Barros had any dealings that caused a gunman to track down his family. Barros denied any connections, and he passed a polygraph. Rumors escalated that one of the men was linked to the mafia and the killer was a hired hitman. I know my husband. They said it was mafia type thing. I know he was not involved in anything like that. It was just one of those crazy random things Maria told to her. I don't know if it's random though. To this day, the only thing I really doubt it's random. it's too planned. I mean, he's got a guy waiting for him in a car. Yeah, forget that. To this day, the only thing I can think of is that it was someone who was unhinged or was on drugs. Really? But there was a guy waiting for him. They said maybe war. Maybe it was someone who had just come back from Vietnam. I don't know. It was just unbelievable. Another theory was that the gunman was an outraged parent whose child died under the doctor's care. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that earlier, but I didn't want to bring up the Luigi Mangione thing. All these other things, that it may have been a patient who was upset and that the child had died, all of that, Maria said, those things were investigated. Nothing was found. Holmes Beach detectives have released a new composite sketch progressively aging the suspect by 30 years, and the fingerprints from the evidence are still run through Florida Department of Law Enforcement database. You know what they should do is take people's fingerprints after they die. Just as a matter of, like, that's what we get to do as a society. And then after that, you can start comparing, oh my God, look at this guy. And then you can investigate people after death and see if they, like, I think that'd be a good thing to do, right? When you die, you get your fingerprints, they get entered into the system. You know, you got to live your whole life, but now we might be able to solve some crimes. What do you guys think of that? I don't know. Fingerprints from the evidence are still run through Florida Department of Law Enforcement database, but fewer and fewer people connected to the case remain. I recently went through the case file, Romine said. There was a witness at the boat ramp who gave an original statement. When I was detective, I went back and interviewed him. And I thought, I wonder if it would be worthwhile to go back and talk to him today just to see if anything has changed. Then I get on down to the bottom and realize he would have turned 100 in September this year. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Ashley Nicole. Yeah, I thought it was a decent idea, right? Maria believes the killer has died by now, maybe even after killing again. They probably did something similar after that. Either they were put in prison, or they just died, or committed suicide. Something like that isn't sane, Maria said. I just try to never think about whoever did this. I was afraid at first, a little nervous, but I realized I really didn't think there was somebody after us. I really didn't. I think it was random. See, I don't. Maria Demois actually caught one last glimpse of her family minutes before the shooting. It was pure happenstance. She and her 16-year-old daughter, Anna Maria, were in another car. Wow, Jesus. Her niece, Anita, well, that's kind of weird, though, too, right? Because earlier I was thinking, is there a connection with her and maybe some other guy? Or her niece, Anita, Raymond Barrow's daughter, was driving them back from Kentucky Fried Chicken. By the way, I just had Popeye's chicken a couple days ago. Man, that's good stuff, man. It's way better than Kentucky Fried Chicken. Where they had picked up dinner for the family. They passed the boat ramp, heading back to the beach house. We saw them coming up to the pier, and we thought, oh, good, because it was getting cloudy. They had the car doors open, getting in. We honked at them. They just missed the guy then getting in. We honked at them. A 43-year-old Demois told detectives just a week after the shooting. Raymond Barrows remembered seeing their car go by. It's funny, you know. When we got the boat off. Oh, wait. So Raymond actually remembers seeing Raymond Barrows, the guy that lived. He saw, Juan's wife drive by. Raymond Barrows remembered seeing their car go by. It's funny, you know. When you got the boat off the water to the ramp, and we were securing the boat with straps, putting the lights on, we heard a car honking. So we looked, and it was my daughter coming from Bradenton with her cousin and her aunt, and we waved, and they went by, Barrows told detectives. And that must have been 2 minutes before this happened, this tragedy. It's kind of weird, though, right? Little kind of coincidental, kind of, you know. Maria was back at the beach house when police called to tell her she needed to go. That must have been so weird. I just saw him, you know. She needed to go to Blake Medical Center. There was a phone call. My niece, Anita, picked it up, and she said, that was the police. I bet also it's like, why would you tell the police that you saw them? I mean, if it was something nefarious. There was a phone call. My niece, Anita, picked it up, and she said, that was the police. That there was a bad accident, and go to Blake Hospital. So I couldn't believe it. Anyway, we went on my way. There I saw my car on the side of the road. There was a policeman there, Maria told the Herald. I stopped. I went over to him. He wouldn't let me get close. The car didn't look banged up. So I didn't think the accident could have been very bad, but he didn't say anything. Just go on to the hospital. When I got there, they told me they had been shot. Maria Dumois and her family never returned to the beach house. Friends packed up their belongings. We would never go back to Anna Maria after that. She said, sitting on a sofa with a picture of her late husband and 2 young sons. After 30 years, I just think about it several times a month. There's always something that brings up a memory. Maria takes comfort in her oldest, 2 oldest children, Juan de Moy III, 49, and Anna, 46. So Juan de Moy III currently is, let's see, 59, 63-ish. Hey, thanks, Texas Roadrunner. I'm grateful for the 2 good children I have. It's really what kept me going, she said. And then they had, let's see, so 49 and, oh, so the son is, yeah, Jesus. It's crazy. It's weird how, like, just so many years go by. And then they had children. Now I have 4 grandsons. I dote on and spoil. They give me a lot of joy. Juan de Moy III, 19, at the time of the killings, had been working at his father's office and didn't go fishing that day. He is now a pediatrician at All Children's Hospital in St. Petersburg. He specializes in infectious diseases. Boom, that's the same guy. When I looked at him, it's almost like looking at his dad, Maria said, beaming. His father would be very proud of him. That's so cool, though, that he did that. Her daughter, Anna, lives in Atlanta with her family. Maria never would remarry. She finally met a companion about 10 years ago. It is nice to have someone to share everything with. It's much better than to be alone for 20 years, Maria said. Life has gotten better in that way. Still, she always wonders what life would have been like to grow old with her husband. She wonders what kind of men her little boys would have become. Tears flow down her cheeks. There was Eric. I don't know why it's making me get kind of feel bad right now. It's weird. There was Eric, who had turned 13 just 2 days before the shootings. Family pictures show the boy sitting behind a chocolate frosted cake with family members nearby at a table inside the Holmes Beach vacation home. He was quiet, intelligent, and played practical jokes, Maria says. She still smiles as she recalls him hiding under a pillow on her bed and jumping out to surprise her. The youngest, Mark, was very smart. She proudly recalls when, as a first grader, he corrected his teacher on the spelling of Antarctica in front of the classmates. He was happy-go-lucky. He was very affectionate, she said. Maria focused on those memories, especially on this date each year. This happens every year I think about it. I try to get busy, she said quietly, at least with Juan here. We try to get together. One of his children has very much the same personality as my Mark here. I look at him and it reminds me so much of him. We don't talk about what happened to them, but we remember. It's just something you can't forget. Yeah, that's just... And that was, hold on. That was a long article by Beth Berger, right there, in 2010. Man, that's just screwed up. So, wow, yes, there you go. That's the main feature. It was much longer than the other one, but what a crazy story that is. I think it's definitely a intentional hit. Apparently that's what the guy... Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. Right there. That's the sketch right there. Right there. That's what the guy looked like, apparently. Crazy, huh? Wow. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that, or at least thought it was interesting. Kind of a long show, but that was old school, wasn't it, you guys? Man, that was like, boom, right there. Yeah, we went over all those articles, and then the last one just hammered it home. I think it might be interesting to try to get those documents they're talking about. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a carjack. It could be, I mean... But why was there a guy waiting for him in another car? Where was he going to go with that if it was a carjacking? You know, take the car somewhere, and then the guy, he still has to go back to the, I don't know. I think it's just like he was going after him specifically. That's what it feels like, but you never know. You never know. Anyways, you guys, thank you very much for watching an old school show. I'd like to be able to do more of these types, but, you know, if we can keep up the... You know, still reach the goals and everything. You know, a big part of my channel is being able to, you know, raise enough funds on, you know, ad revenue, channel memberships, etc., to be able to still donate a lot of money at the end of the month out to various true crime related charities. And one problem we've had lately is when you cover these kind, it makes it really difficult. But tonight we did it, so there you go, boom. And thanks for everybody on. We've got Lisa Valenzuela, Gabrielle, Sandy, and then Michelle H, Lisa S, and Paulette Leonard on the Buy Me a Coffee. Very cool. And right. There was also, I think there was a PayPal in there somewhere. Oh, that was from Benjamin. Thank you so much. I guess it's Benny and the Jets. Right. I'd like to have the files. If they said that they released them, wouldn't you guys want to have those? Those are amazing. Yeah. All right. So I want to say thanks to everybody on here. Vicky White, Kubacek was in here. Then Vicky White became a new member. Then Allie Cake, Karen. She actually fell down recently. Has been kind of out of commission. So put out some positive vibes for her. And don't forget to put out some prayer hands for Lisa Wilkerson. She just had some surgery. Hopefully that works out good for her. Karen, K-Me, then LM, as in Element Open. Toxic Tink, Allie Cake, Michelle H, Karen, and then Gracie Full Klutz, something like that. Then Plato, Allie Cake, Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Vicky White, Carolina T, Heidi MJ, Christina Hayes, Herbert Landscaping, Municipality, Lisa Noir, Karen, Sandy Shirley, Herbert Landscaping, Employee of the Month, E.G. Moore, then we have Be Kind and Mindful 21 months, Be Kind and Mindful Super Chat, then Alley Cake, then LM 9 months, she's been here a lot longer than that, then LM, then Moofies, then Sandy Shirley, then I gifted 5 memberships because of you guys, then Jessica Schubach, then Judy Grandstrand gifted 5, then Ashley Nicole, and then Texas Road Runner. Very cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. We had a successful non-popular case night. My God, everybody. That is incredible. That's like a miracle. But anyways, thank you guys very much. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys found I think they're all pretty interesting. I mean, obviously some of the other ones didn't have much information, but it's like, you know, these are all people that were killed by somebody, and nobody knows who that person is. How shitty is that? All right. So anyways, let's do we're going to do the flyby then. Woo! The heck is that? Let's see. What place is the good one? Let me get rid of all the... I guess if I have a different screen, right? Yeah, that one right there. I'm just trying to find a good one. No. It doesn't look like it's got the 3D going on here. Let's see. Yeah, got the terrain on. If it has like the smooth rounded rocks, it's not good. Actually, that looks correct. Okay, that's not the one I usually go. Okay, the needles. Let's try that one. There we go. There we go. All right, so we'll do the wrap first, and then we'll go do that. And what was that called? It was called, Furious Freaks. It's been so long. Not that long. We did one like last month, but anyways, you guys, thank you all very much for watching. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. By the way, I'll make some posts tomorrow on the community section. One for each dog, and then you guys come up with the names, all right? All right, here we go. And I will be picking the names
Yeah, I've been doing
ourselves,
this true
but
crime thing for
we'll
quite
see
a
which
while
one we
now.
like.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is...
Not even one gray
crime
dissector, the projector.
I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pop protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, just remember I've a fucking check. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll send it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Yeehaw!
That's right, Paulette. For anybody who's in need, put out those prayer hand vibe hands.
Hey Gray, we done or what? Oh, hey, okay, cool, do it again. No, this is the noodles. This is the noodles.
That's Paul Bunyan's toilet.
Wow, Gray, that was radical! Wow! Jesus.
Alright, anyways. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright? And as they always say, everybody, or as a matter of fact, until next time. Have you ever been to the... No, I haven't been to there. I want to go there sometime. As we always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.